Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU FM 90.7. We had a little trouble, technical trouble. Namely, the transmitter yesterday went kaput, to use a familiar German expression. But all systems go. We can say a pleasant good morning to Teri Chamberlain. Good to see you this morning, Teri.
Good morning. Good to be seen.
And Dr. Gene Sidler as well. Good morning, Gene.
Good morning, and good morning to everybody on YouTube up there.
Yes, that's right. We are alive and well on YouTube. And a little reminder, if you're listening on the radio and you want to see two lovely people, I'm not part of the duet, and you can do it by going to Bradley, where'd that come from? Goodness. We mean Roger and Friends LS.
The LS stands for live stream.
Live stream.
And you got to be sure to put that on, because otherwise you'll just get a bunch of cat videos.
There's somebody else that has Roger and Friends. Yes, maybe cat.
Is there really?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's somebody else that's got that name. Once you get a name chosen on YouTube that is a unique name, that is yours, and nobody else can take it.
Somebody grabbed it?
Yeah. So somebody had it before you did. Yeah.
You know, I don't think so. And the reason I say that, Steve Young, when he was part of our cabal, he applied for it and got it, and he owns it.
Now you're talking about Facebook, I think.
Well, and
No.
is that Breakfast with Roger and Friends, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, for the YouTube, it's at Roger and Friends. It's
Yeah.
a little bit different.
So I guess you're right. So there's a Roger out there
Well,
who
loves
has
cats.
friends too.
here's what you get if you go to YouTube Roger and Friends. Just
Yeah.
simply Roger and Friends. You get a banner that says that it's not available, which means somebody else has it, but they haven't set up an actual channel.
Now, there are people, I'm told, that will grab names in the hopes that later on you'll pay them to get it.
Oh, yeah, that happened a lot in the early
Early
days
in the early game,
of the Internet. And then some court rulings ruled that was an infringement on
Their personal domain?
Yeah, their name and rights such as that. There was some guy that
Bought a bunch
had
of
a
them,
bunch of
didn't he?
names, like standardoil.com or americanstandard.com, and yes, he was sued by those companies and he had to give them up. Now, some companies went ahead and paid him because he was only asking $5,000 or $10,000, and maybe
That's chump change.
that was chump change to those companies, but.
But not for me. I'll sell my program right now for $5
If people
or a
aren't,
dozen donuts.
if people aren't real comfortable searching around YouTube, you can go to breakfastwithrogerandfriends.com, which
Yeah.
is your own dedicated website, and there's a big old link there that you click on, and it'll take you to the YouTube channel.
To the live broadcast. Well, I know the audience has been growing, and we appreciate the interest in our program. And we have a great program this morning. We're going to talk to the Republican nominee for governor, Darren Baley, about the budget that Governor Pritzker has talked about. And he also has some inside information about the Chicago Bears and the state of Indiana. And I think you'll find that very interesting in and by itself, for that matter. And another guest we have on our program will be Rick Simkins of the West McQueen Street Band. And he is going to be playing for the 75th birthday bash downtown at Kelleher's of Pat Sullivan, who not only is now 75 as of today, but apparently is going to throw in the towel, which is an important analogy or comparison, because he is a former Golden Gloves boxing champion. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, I did not know that.
And as you know, on more than one occasion, when a guy is getting the crap beat out of him, the trainer will throw the towel in the ring and say, "That's it. Stop beating up on my boxer." So we'll be talking with Rick about the birthday bash that our friend Eddie Parker will be emceeing. In the meantime, let's get into the news, more often, right here on Breakfast with Roger and Friends. All right, and we want to tell you as we check our weather that is brought to you as a service of our friends at Morton Community Banks. 50 branches across the state of Illinois, offering a full range of personal and business banking services. Hometown banks, FDIC insured, so your deposits are safe, and that's important. Look for the clock tower, and you'll know they have time for you. And we have time to tell you we're still under a flood warning until further notice. The Illinois River expected to crest at 19.6 feet by tomorrow morning. Flood stage is, you know what flood stage is, children? 18 feet. Very good. Weather-wise today will be sunny and bright, just like our morning show. High near 80. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 61. There's a 30% chance for showers after midnight tonight. Tomorrow will be sunny and 82. Tomorrow night, increasing cloudiness with a chance for rain after midnight. Showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for Sunday. Some could become heavy. The high 75, and Monday sunny and 77. Right now we are at 58 degrees, and that's your live weather picture, complete with the current temperature. Meteorologist Kyle Varnold joins us live in the studio during the 8 o'clock hour with more details. Just a little reminder, today is Friday, Juneteenth, 2026. Now with our lead story, here's Terry Chamberlain.
Well, it was a big day yesterday for former President Barack Obama and his former First Lady, Michelle, as they headlined the opening of the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. The ceremony, closed to the public, featured former Presidents Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and George W. Bush. Cost estimates have varied by the national media, but is considered the most expensive presidential library in history. Much of the rhetoric by speakers focused on criticizing President Donald Trump, who was not invited to attend. The public opening of the center is today.
You know, I honestly believe that if they had extended an invitation to him, to Trump, he would have attended. You know, he's got more brass than a city hall spittoon, but they didn't invite him. They did invite Governor J.B. Pritzker. He was on hand for the ceremony after making a crucial correction on his budget. WLS News reported the governor used his item and reduction veto powers to eliminate over $500 billion in spending erroneously included in the 2027-year budget. If not corrected, which it was, that amount of money would have been allocated to guess who? The Chicago branch of the NAACP. I didn't know they got money from the governor. The agency is supposed to receive only $500,000. And in other words, too many zeros on the number 500,000. No word on whether the Peoria chapter of the NAACP will be receiving any state money from the governor, but Chicago will.
No comment.
Thank you.
Speaking of the budget, the largest spending plan in state history, we'll talk about it with Darren Baley, Republican candidate for governor, at 7:30 this morning. You won't want to miss our interview, since Baley has some important information to share about where the Chicago Bears will be playing football after they leave Soldiers Field in the Windy City.
Let's turn to world news. The oil is flowing, the drones are grounded, and the fighting has ended in the Iran war. The president and his administration are happy. Critics are not, including the war hawks, who apparently want to resume the bombing to bring about a regime change. Israel is disappointed, as you probably know, and Iran's current leaders dispute Trump's assessment of the 60-day deal. With American military might remaining in the area, only time will tell whether there will be peace in the valley.
Isn't that a song, Peace in the
Yes,
Valley?
it is. That's where I got it.
I thought so. No peace in the war between Ukraine and Russia. Score a big one for the Ukrainians. For the second time in a week, Ukraine drones hit a major oil refinery in Moscow, killing 3 people and injuring others. It was the largest and deadliest attack on Moscow since the war started 4 years ago. And there are reports Russia is suffering massive casualties with few soldiers available in reserve.
Now for some local news. You heard it first on our program Wednesday when Defense Attorney Kevin Sullivan was part of our format. Sullivan said his client, Peoria Heights Mayor Matt Wigington, wants a jury to decide whether he's guilty or not guilty of driving under the influence. The mayor was arrested by Peoria police as he sat in his vehicle in the parking deck of the Paramarquette Hotel after attending a community dinner. The vehicle allegedly was not running, and the keys were in Wigington's coat pocket. The judge set July 20th for the trial.
Big day today for Peoria Community Leader Pat Sullivan, as we mentioned earlier. Sullivan celebrates his 75th birthday and his announced retirement. The birthday bash starts at 5 p.m. at his famous eatery, Kelleher's Irish Pub, with the big band sound of Rick Simkins and his West McQueen Street Band. We'll talk with Rick, a Peoria High graduate, like Sullivan, at 8:15 this morning. MC of the fun, our very own Eddie Parker.
You got it. And today, as we mentioned, we're observing Juneteenth, marking the end of slavery in the United States. Today became a federal holiday in 2021. June 19th, 1865 may be remembered as when Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, with some 2,000 troops to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation issued by President Abraham Lincoln. Those are some of the stories we're following. Now more news from WCBU.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Charlie Schlenker. The Washington Plaza Shopping Center is getting a makeover with a $500,000 investment. Washington's City Council has approved a development agreement with owner Sam Baley. The pact includes adding a quarter-acre of green space and resurfacing the pothole-filled parking lot. Alderperson Bobby Martin III chairs the city's Economic Development Commission. He says Teabali could be convinced to return the plaza to its original name, Sunnyland Plaza.
I think he's open to it, but as of right now, he calls it the Washington Plaza. He's open to almost anything.
The city will maintain the green space. In addition to fixing the parking lot, Washington Plaza management will install exterior security cameras. Illinois is hoping to prevent gaps left by federal cuts to Medicaid. Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed a bill aiming at maintaining access to health care for Illinois Medicaid recipients. The bill includes roughly $110 million in state spending to expand Medicaid services, support safety net hospitals, and invest in long-term care programs. Saturday night brings the last summer before the summer solstice, and if the skies are clear, it could be a great night for stargazing at the century-old Northmoor Observatory in Donovan Park. The Peoria Astronomical Society is in its 71st season of hosting Saturday public viewings throughout the summer. Program Chair Chris Schmidt says they have many options for seeing stars and planets.
We've got the little building that the dome is in, and then we've got scopes outside. We also have a pair of binoculars, and you can do naked eye observings.
Gatherings start at sunset and typically last into the 11 o'clock hour. Some government offices will be closed tomorrow in observance of the Juneteenth holiday, though others remain open. Peoria City Hall is also open, so is the Peoria County Courthouse. Some offices in the building will be closed. Those include the County Clerk's Office, Probation Services, and the Regional Office of Education. I'm Charlie Schlenker.
Let's get into the world of sports, and Dr. Gene Sidler is here. A little reminder brought to you by BradleyFans.com. What do you have for us?
You know, there's some Bradley news. We reported yesterday that Emmy Wardle, probably the top girls high school player in our area and one of the top players in the state. She just finished her junior year, got one more year to go at Peoria Notre Dame, but she committed to Bradley to play her college basketball. And, of course, that's where her sister Maya is playing now for the Bradley Braves women's team. And of course, her father is the men's coach of the men's basketball team. So very nice news to hear. And we've got some other news regarding NIL and some of those kinds of issues that we've talked about before, the name, image, and likeness, and the ability for the university to pay the players. And things are looking up, at least for now, for Bradley.
Isn't it true that if you are an employee of the university, a member of the faculty, that your children can attend tuition free?
Yes, if you're employed, even if you're just a low-level employee, I think you have to be a full-time.
There's no such thing as low level. Everybody has an importance.
I'm trying to avoid saying
Yeah.
something like that, but I think you have to be a full-time employee. But then, yes, you can attend tuition free. There are still fees and expenses that will come, but the biggest part is the tuition, obviously.
But and I would say that as an athlete, not only getting free tuition because of the relationship with the father being the employee of the university, that part of the NIL, maybe for the two young girls and the other basketball players, they get some freebies. Would that not be right? Don't you think that?
Yeah.
You said there are other expenses, but I'll bet those are taken care of
Well,
with their
all the
willingness to
players
sign
are
on.
on an athletic scholarship, so yes.
Yeah.
Even they'll occasionally have what we call walk-on players that are non-scholarship, but most of those are also very smart players, very smart students.
Academically, yeah.
Yeah, and they are on academic scholarships. Yeah.
You're really dressed up today. Usually you have
Got
a
a
Bradley
beautiful
shirt
shirt
on or something, but you look like you're going to go do
Well,
a funeral
don't you
or
agree? It's
something.
one of those days where you get up and it's like 57 on the thermometer and you're
Yeah,
not
you
sure
don't know
what
what
to
to-
wear
yeah, you're
because it's
right.
supposed to be 79 then later today.
Right.
So yeah,
But it isn't 79 right
no,
now.
it's chilly out
Yeah,
there. For
you
right
bet
now.
58 degrees.
So I grabbed something long sleeve. Yeah,
Well, are you warm? Are you comfortable?
very much. Yes, and you never know in the studio because when it's cold outside, it's usually too warm in here, and when it's warm outside, it's too cold in here.
Yes, when the air
Yeah,
kicks on.
no, I
Yes.
think you're right. That reminds me of the joke we always told about the guy that was hit by a car and he rushed over and took his shirt off and coat and put it under the guy's head as he was laying on the concrete. And he said, "Are you comfortable?" He says, "Well, I make a nice living." I thought that was funny. And that's not my joke, it's Royce's joke. So boo him. He'll hear it. He's in heaven. He's listening.
Anyway, sports from yesterday.
Yes.
We got the Major League Baseball scores. St. Louis Cardinals lost to the Kansas City Royals 14-6.
Oh, that was terrible. Did you watch any of that?
I did not. No,
No,
I was
it
following it online.
It was a massacre.
Yeah, it was a one-sided game, and the Royals were really piling it on. But they're still doing pretty well. They got a record of 40-33, second place in the National League Central behind the Brewers, only 5.5 games behind, so still within striking distance. I'm not sure the Brewers are going to be able to continue their pace through the whole season, but they certainly are playing well right now. The Cardinals now move to play the Royals again tonight in the second game of that series. The Chicago Cubs were off yesterday. The Cubs 7.5 games behind the Brewers. They start a series against the Toronto Blue Jays afternoon game today and tomorrow.
In Wrigley
Sunday.
Field?
And that's at Wrigley Field.
Okay.
Yeah. And Chicago White Sox out in New York in Yankee Stadium. They beat the New York Yankees last night 5-1, and they remain tied with the Cleveland Guardians for first place.
They are
in that
playing
AL
great
Central.
baseball.
They certainly are. You know, they started the season 6-13, and everybody thought, oh no, here we go.
Another year.
They've had 3 100-plus losses in a row, and everybody thought, well, nothing different this year. But since then, they've had the best record in baseball, and are now 5 games over the 500 mark. They're playing in Detroit tonight against the Tigers. The Peoria Chiefs played a doubleheader last night, making up for that Wednesday night rainout. It was not a good night for the Chiefs. They lost the first game 3-1, and just to prove that they weren't in the same league as the Dayton Dragons, they lost the second game 18-1.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Dayton's a pretty good team.
That's painful.
They're leading the East Division of the Midwest League.
And Dayton is affiliated with
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Peoria had actually been playing pretty well recently and moved from last place up into third in the Western Division, but now they've lost 5 in a row and are struggling. And the first half schedule just came to an end. So they played the last of the first half games last night, and tonight they'll play again against Dayton. It begins what they called the second half of the season.
So they're 0-0.
So as far as how you look at making the postseason playoffs, yes, they get a new start. Because in the playoffs, it's the winner of the first half versus the winner of the second half in the playoffs.
Assuming they're two different teams.
Assuming they're two different teams.
Could they win?
Well,
Could
yes.
the same team
Yes,
win both
if they're the
halves?
same team, the second place team with the best record in either half then becomes the opponent for that division in the semifinals and then the finals. So there they go.
Yes.
They're 9 games out as of the present, but they begin the second half of the season tonight. College World Series is down to the final 2 teams, North Carolina and Oklahoma. They will play a best-of-3 game series starting Saturday in Omaha, where they play the College World Series. Oklahoma has won the College World Series twice in 1951. Remember those days, Roger? And 1994. North Carolina has not won the College World Series before, so they're looking for their first championship. They were runners-up in 2 seasons back in 2006 and 2007.
Have you watched any of those games?
I've just only seen clips online. I haven't watched the games
I
on
watched
TV.
some of the games, and they have some kids, some college kids, throwing 95, 98 miles an hour.
It's not at all unusual anymore, to see
It's
that.
amazing.
Yes, it used to be there was a rare pro pitcher in the big leagues pitching at 95, and now everybody does it, and the college players, even high school players.
There's a
I think I
kid,
mentioned a couple weeks ago.
Peoria.
East Peoria's got a kid that can throw 97, 98 miles an hour.
That's just
Yeah,
amazing.
Amazing. Golf news yesterday, the first round of the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills Golf Club in Southampton, New York. They didn't quite finish it due to darkness, but the leader at the end of the day was American Wyndham Clark, really having a good round. He was 6 under par through just 16 holes, so he's got 2 more holes to complete this morning, and that's a 4-stroke lead over 7 other golfers tied at 2 under. They will finish that first round and begin the second round this morning. And World Cup soccer, there's 4 matches today, including the U.S. men's team playing their second game in the tournament against Australia in Seattle. Both teams are 1-0 so far. U.S. beat Paraguay 4-1 last Friday, and Australia beat Turkey 2-0 last Saturday. And so today's match is on Fox Network at 2 p.m. And U.S. team is favored by 1.5 goals. So it should be a good game. Australia is not a pushover, but the U.S.
But
team...
they're rated behind the USA team in the rankings.
Yes. Now, there's one concern for the U.S. team. Their top player, Christian Pulisic, has been nursing a calf injury that he suffered in the first half of the game last Friday against Paraguay. He left the game at halftime, did not return to the game, and since then he has not trained or practiced with the team since the injury. His status for today's game. In soccer, it's not like in football where you're required to give us an injury report before the game.
Right.
In soccer, they keep it a high-level secret. Nobody is allowed to reveal any information about it. So it's being kept a high-level secret. So nobody really knows what his status is for today's game. There are some people suggesting he probably shouldn't play because they're going to need him later on in what they call the knockout round, the one and done part of the tournament later on, and they look pretty secure in advancing to that bracketed part of the tournament from their pool play. But we don't know. So
you don't know what kind of conditions in. I wonder if he's, I could help him out and tell him to drink some chicken soup. Chicken soup cure.
Is that good for pulled muscles?
Everything, anything.
Yeah, he doesn't.
It can't hurt.
He has a pulled calf muscles. Although that's not quite as serious as some other muscular injuries. And I think he'll probably play, but maybe they'll limit his minutes of playing time. He did travel with the team to Seattle. The U.S. team is headquartered at the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel, Southern California.
First class rest. Yeah, okay.
Laguna
Not Motel
Niguel
5.
is down south of Los Angeles in Orange County, and it's a beautiful area.
You used to live in that area.
Homes.
Did you live in that area?
Well, when we lived out there, and we would drive down the coast to San Diego a few times, you would drive through the Laguna Niguel. At that time, it was just a sleepy little beach town, and it was just starting to go through that massive development that it now has, where there's these, like I say, there's multi-million
We should have
dollar
bought a
homes
lot
that
out
go
there
all the way
back
up the
then,
hills and into the hills away from the beaches. But yes, it was not a very big town at that time, but now it is. And then, like I say, they've got Ritz-Carltons and Carltons and shopping plazas and all kinds of fancy stores and things there.
I'm sure your travels and when you lived out there for how many years? Couple?
I was out there 3 years.
3 years, yeah. You took the what is it, U.S. Route 1 from L.A. to San Francisco
Did that
along the
a couple
coastline.
of times. Drove all the way up the coast on U.S. Route 1. Yes,
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's a beautiful drive.
Beautiful.
And I decided to get clever and come back on the inside, which was a mistake because you don't see anything. And I don't know how many times we got behind trucks carrying garlic. And garlic was in the air in the
Just
summer.
south of San Francisco is a little town called Gilroy, California. It is
Yes.
it is known as the garlic capital of
yeah.
the world, and we didn't know that as we were driving up the coast the first time that we did that. But you could start to smell the garlic
Yeah.
miles away from this town, and you just wonder, what is that I'm smelling? And you realize it's garlic. And then as you come into town, there's this huge billboard. Welcome to
Yeah,
Gilroy,
right.
garlic capital
Garlic
of the world.
Exactly. And boy, could you smell it. And even if you rolled up the windows, you could still smell it.
The cars will have enough ventilation. Yeah, you'll still smell it. And it's not
It's
highly
not an
unpleasant.
unpleasant, no. I will say, once it got in my nose, hours later, I could still smell the garlic.
The last time we were in Gilroy, we stopped and had breakfast at a restaurant. And this wasn't that many years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when we took a trip out there to go up to the redwood areas north of San Francisco. And it turns out, something I didn't know is that they imported a lot of Portuguese workers to work the garlic fields way back in the early 1900s. And so much of the community is of Portuguese derivation.
Well, I didn't know that.
And on the menus in the restaurants are all these Portuguese dishes. So I tried one of their Portuguese sausages that they were serving for
I
breakfast.
bet it was hot.
It really wasn't, but it had its own distinct taste, and yeah, it had some little bit of spice
a
to it.
bite.
But it wasn't all that bad, and actually, I thought it was really good.
pretty
And I
good
don't.
burger.
I'm like you. I can't
Yeah,
tolerate. My
yeah.
stomach doesn't tolerate a lot of spicy stuff, but I really liked it. Yeah.
Interesting.
And there's a-
California, unfortunately, has been turned into somewhat of a political cesspool, but it is really, if you can get away from it, it's just a beautiful state. And unfortunately, Los Angeles has gone downhill with so many homeless camps, but you get out and about on the highways and the byways in the smaller towns, it's just amazing. You know, my sister's lived for years, over 40 years in California, and she's now in a gated community called Indio, and it's a very nice, lovely area. And outside of the gated community, which is not, it's kind of like the villages in Florida, as a matter of fact. And it's a village within a village, you might say. But she just loves it out there. And I've been trying to get her to move back to Illinois. She said, you think I'm nuts?
I was trying to remember the name of the sausage, but it was linguica. I think I'm looking it up here, and I'm sure I got the pronunciation wrong, but that was the name for the sausage that we had, and it was terrific.
So it was pretty good then.
Yeah, I thought it was great, yeah.
Most sausages are spicy. A few, I'm trying to think, Jimmy Dean, of course, has his famous sausage, but
Breakfast sausage.
yeah, yeah, you're exactly right.
Usually sausages were derived in communities from the lowest quality meats that were left over after all the steaks and the other things were taken. And so you had to spice them up a little bit to give them flavor because
bite.
they had a lot of fat in them and were not the most flavorful meats. But yeah, most ethnic communities figured out ways to make them into something special. Yeah.
And that's sports.
That'll do it for
And
sports.
that's sports, all right. And your timing couldn't be better because it is 6:30 and time for an update of the news on Breakfast with Roger. And our news at the bottom of the hour brought to you by Matt Wall, CPA. He is with Gordon Stockman Wall. He knows all things financial, such as estate and trust tax planning, federal and state tax compliance, employee benefits, you name it. If you have any questions financially about yourself, your family, or your business, don't hesitate to check in with Matt Wall. His phone number, 309-692-4030. Little reminder, we're still under a flood warning until further notice, according to the folks who take care of those notices and information. The Illinois River expected to crest at 19.6 feet by tomorrow morning, and flood stage, is at 18 feet. Otherwise, today will be sunny and bright, and a high near 80. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 61. There's a 30% chance for showers after midnight. Tomorrow will be sunny, 82. Tomorrow night, increasing cloudiness. There's a chance for rain after midnight. Showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for Sunday. Some could become heavy. And the high Sunday, only 75. Monday, sunny and 77. Our temperature right now at 59 degrees. And Terry has our headlines this morning. Terry?
A lot of important people gathered in Chicago yesterday to celebrate former President Barack Obama and his former First Lady Michelle and the opening of the Obama Presidential Center. The dedicatory ceremony featured former Presidents Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and George W. Bush. Cost estimates have varied by the national media, but is considered the most expensive presidential library in history. The public opening of the center is today. Governor J.B. Pritzker attended the ceremony after making a crucial correction on his budget. WLS News reported the governor used his item and reduction veto powers to eliminate over $500 billion in spending erroneously included in the 2027 year budget. If not corrected, that amount of money would have been allocated to the Chicago branch of the NAACP. The agency is supposed to receive $500,000. Little difference between M and B.
Yeah, there are a few zeros as well.
Yeah, a few zeros, too. Speaking of the budget, the largest spending plan in state history, we'll talk about it with Darren Baley, Republican candidate for governor, at 7:30 this morning. You won't want to miss the interview, since Baley has some important information to share about where the Chicago Bears will be playing football after they leave Soldiers Field. Now for some local news. You heard it on our program Wednesday morning from defense attorney Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan said his client, Peoria Heights Mayor Matt Wickington, wants a jury to decide whether he's guilty or not guilty of driving under the influence. The mayor was arrested by Peoria police as he sat in his vehicle in the parking deck of the Pierre Marquette Hotel after attending a community dinner last April. The vehicle allegedly was not running with the keys in Wickington's coat pocket when he was nabbed. The judge set July 20th for the trial. Big day today, spit that out, for Peoria community leader Pat Sullivan. Sullivan celebrates his 75th birthday and his announced retirement. The birthday bash starts at 5 p.m. at his famous eatery, Kelleher's Irish Pub, with the big band sound of Rick Simkins and his West McQueen Street Band. We'll talk with Rick, a Peoria High graduate, like Sullivan, at 8:15 this morning. MC of the fun, our very own Eddie Parker. And today is the observance of Juneteenth, marking the end of slavery in the United States. The day became a federal holiday in 2021. On June 19, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, with some 2,000 troops to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation issued by President Abraham Lincoln. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, thank you, Terry. Now a check of the weather, brought to you by Spoon River Home Health, making a difference in the lives of their clients since 1993 with a comprehensive range of home health care services, from skilled nursing to bathing and personal care. And you can reach them today. It's a good idea to jot down their phone number, 309-245-0723. Of course, the folks at Spoon River Home Health. We're under a flood warning until further notice. The Illinois River expected to crest at 19.6 feet by tomorrow morning. Flood stage, is 18 feet. Otherwise, today sunny and bright, high near 80. Tonight partly cloudy with a low 61. Tomorrow sunny and 82. Tomorrow night increasing cloudiness, a chance for rain after midnight. Showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for Sunday. Some could become heavy, high near 75. And Monday sunny and 77. Currently, we are at 59 degrees, and we don't mind saying this is pretty nice weather. It almost gives you a feeling you live in San Diego or somewhere on the coast of California. And we don't have a beautiful road winding along the ocean front, but you can go up on Grandview Drive and get a nice view of the world's most beautiful drive. And as you look up the river and see the barges coming or going, it's a pretty nice view of central Illinois. I don't know if it's the world's most beautiful drive.
Well, Theodore Roosevelt thought so.
He thought so. That was Teddy, was it?
Teddy?
That's, Teddy. Yeah, you got it.
That's where that.
Well, anyway, this is, we have a lot coming up. The Republican nominee for governor of Illinois, Darren Baley, will join us following the 7:30 news, and at 8:15 we're going to talk to Rick Simkins of the West McQueen Street Band. And instead of doing our This Day in History quiz that we typically do during the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to do it during this period of time, and maybe some folks on the way to school or work. Well, school's out, unless you can take summer classes at ICC and I think Bradley University as well. So on this day, June 19th, 1865, what happened?
That would be the Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas.
Yes, but not in this case.
So something else big
Yes,
happened.
but it was connected.
The final state declared the freedom of slaves?
Essentially, you're correct. The Texas Emancipation Proclamation was released and announced and enforced.
Okay.
So apparently that's a play on words, but it's not. Their proclamation was
It's just,
different.
back then
than
they
the
didn't have cell phones, so
No,
it just,
I don't think they
it
even
just
had
took 2
phones.
extra years to get
Yeah.
the news down there to them.
And the second sentence of the proclamation asserted a simple but immeasurably powerful message for which Black Americans in Texas had been waiting for generations. All enslaved people are free. All right, moving on with this day in history. Actually, tomorrow, June 20th, 1975, something happened in the entertainment world. What was it?
Is it related to music?
To music? No.
Is it?
A movie was released.
Actually, yes, it was. And that movie also was noted for its music. So
Jaws.
Jaws.
Jaws is right. How'd you know that?
Because
I didn't know it was that year, but I knew it was right about.
1975,
It was.
June 20th.
And when you said music, I thought that definitely has to be Jaws.
And what was the music titled?
theme from Jaws.
Well, it had, well, you're right about that, obviously, but it had a name, 2 words in parentheses about, well, very simply, I don't want to overplay it. It was known as the shark theme. I didn't know that, but that's what it says. Composed by who? Who was the composer?
John Williams?
John Williams, exact. And it was performed by a tuba player. I didn't know that.
I didn't
That
either.
was the one.
Are we supposed to guess the tuba player's name?
Yes. Come up with the tuba player's name.
I don't have a clue.
I don't have a clue.
Well, that's understandable. Tommy Johnson.
Are you making that up?
No, it says, and performed by tuba player Tommy Johnson.
That's
It
his
marked
claim
the
to fame,
arrival
right?
of Hollywood's first major summer blockbuster when director Steven Spielberg's thriller Jaws had its debut in U.S. theaters. Eventually shown in nearly 700 U.S. theaters, Jaws became the first summer mega hit, racking up $260 million at the domestic box office. The film grossed $450 million worldwide. And did you, in all honesty, now be honest, did you? I know both of you attended. I mean, you're part of the millions that did.
Yep, saw it at the Fox Theater. Yep.
Out on War Drive.
Yep.
Right. Did you like it?
Yes.
You did like it.
Yes, it wasn't frightening to me because I knew it was just a movie, but I guess there were a lot of people that were a bit scared watching it.
Well, first of all, I don't like to get scared, but I was not overly.
The opening scene where where the shark takes this young girl out swimming and pulls her under and chews her up, that was a little bit alarming. Yeah.
Yep. And it
To
kind of
start out a movie with
kind of set the
that
tone.
kind of scene, yes.
Yeah, and the movie, the theme. There's the two. So Tommy had to be pretty happy to be mentioned in the same breath as obviously the How did it end? How did the movie end? Did they kill Jaws?
Yes,
In the end.
he threw a scuba tank out at him, and the shark bit into it, but it didn't explode, so he shot it with a rifle, and it exploded and killed the shark.
Now I'm going to ask you, since you were in California, you and Becky, did you go to Universal Studios?
Yes, but of course,
Did you take
back
the
in
tour?
'75, they didn't have the shark theme park set up yet. That came later. But yeah, we went to Universal
Okay,
Studios.
so you didn't see the Jaws?
No, like I say, because that movie was actually out at that time, we didn't. They didn't have that yet.
Yeah.
I think they
Well,
added that to the
they
theme
did
park
when we went with the two boys,
in the
and
80s.
you're on
Yeah,
the
I was
cart and you
in the
come to the
80s.
water, body of water, and then without warning, all of a sudden this
Pretty
creature
realistic.
comes out
I've
of
seen
the,
video of it. Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty realistic.
They
It
named
was,
him Bruce.
And we had some people go, ah! Namely, young women scream when it came out of the water. So it was kind of dramatic. It was fun, actually. At any rate, let's move to June 21st, the year 1990, and this happened in another part of the world, not United States. What was it? And this is a question for Kyle Varnold, if he were here, if that helps you out a little bit.
So it must be weather related.
Yeah, I would say so. Was it a storm story?
Well, I said that, and that was designed to throw you off, and it did.
Was it an earthquake?
It was, yes.
Well, meteorologists do somehow
Say
encompass
there's a
earthquakes,
connection.
even though you don't think
Yeah.
it should fit with meteorology. But okay, so what earthquake was 1990?
Let's go.
19.
Was it in like India?
No?
That's a good guess because there was that Mumbai.
And it was devastating. I'm sad to say I don't remember it, and I should. In 1990, that was, 36 years ago. You'd think you'd be able to remember that, Roger.
Was it in Asia?
Yeah, let's see, no.
No. What's left?
Was
What's
it?
left? A lot of countries.
Was it in
At that time? I mean,
Australia?
No,
South
wrong
America.
part of the world.
South America.
Wrong part of the world.
Was it in Europe?
Wrong part of the world.
What's left?
United States?
No, I said no, wasn't in the
United
Well,
States.
yeah, that's so.
Okay.
You named every area, I think, except for the area
Well, you said it wasn't Asia.
No,
Because I was going to
that's
say
right.
Japan, but that's Asia.
Yeah, Asia, Europe, North America, South America,
Africa?
Africa, and
What's in the news today, people?
The Middle East?
Yes.
Iran.
Well, that's kind of, okay. Afghanistan?
Well, you're close.
Well, now we're back in Asia now.
Why do you keep saying you're back in Asia?
Well, you said it wasn't in Asia.
And he says in the Middle East.
in the Middle East.
But that's
what-
Asia.
Kind of.
What?
I didn't consider Egypt in Asia or
Oh, and, Egypt,
Afghanistan or Iraq.
Egypt is in Africa, but Afghanistan, Iraq, those are all Asian countries. Yeah.
Well, I've never considered this country, but I never argue with a guy that has a
Middle
medical
Eastern
degree.
country that had an earthquake. Was it in Iran?
Yes. Now, do you consider that Asia?
Yes, that is Asia. Yeah,
I've always considered that the Middle East.
but that's not the name of a continent.
Well, I'm not talking about continents. I'm talking about regions.
Oh, okay,
Asia is a
region, okay.
continent. But okay, so it was the Tehran earthquake.
Don't argue with the teacher.
I retract my
Even when the teacher's wrong, don't correct the teacher. Haven't you been in situations in your medical career, in your academic career, when you knew the teacher was wrong?
Yeah.
Yes, but what did you do? You didn't argue with him over the air. Okay, so it's Iran.
So
you
it was
got
Iran.
yeah.
Okay, I can
June
vividly
21st.
remember an earthquake that killed thousands of people.
Yes, 50,000 as a matter of
And,
fact, and injured an estimated 100,000 more. The magnitude tremor was what?
had to have been in the 7.
I
Yes,
said
that's right.
7.5.
Seven, close, 7.4. And wreaked havoc on houses in the area. And 30 minutes past midnight, people sleeping in their homes were awakened by a violent quake, the largest ever to be recorded in that part of the coastline of what sea?
The Black Sea.
The what?
Black?
Well, probably was after the tremor, but no, in this case.
Caspian.
The Caspian is, you're a little hesitant there. You didn't have that in your answer. Caspian. You
That-
say,
that's
when
the
you're
only other
bright and
sea
intelligent,
near
you
Iraq.
bark it out. Caspian Sea, Roger. And now you do. You did good on that. You got that a lot quicker than I thought you
Well,
would.
we kind of zeroed. We needed some help on that third one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're done good. Weather-wise, we're doing good. Today will be sunny and bright. And a high near 80 degrees. Currently, we are at 59 degrees. And as we do each and every morning about this time, we hear from our friends at Peoria Pet Crematory.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. Adopting a rescue pet can be a noble and very rewarding experience. I believe everyone should at least once in their lives adopt a rescued animal. Millions of pets are being euthanized every day due to the lack of good homes. Without folks opening their hearts, homes, and wallets to an abused and rescued and rehabilitated pet, there would be thousands of animals that would never know love, a warm bed, a dish full of food, and the freedom of a clean, safe yard to play in. It can be challenging sometimes with a rescued or previously abused animal, but if the dog has been in a foster home, then you are steps ahead. Our fosters teach the animals some manners, work on housebreaking, and re-socializing. So when you adopt, you are a little ahead of the challenges. It's going to take some time for everyone to adapt to each other's ways, so be patient and consistent in your expectations. What is really amazing is the capacity for these precious creatures to actually forgive the human race that inflicted the pain on them to begin with. I love watching my rescue with a full belly happily laying in her bed after dinner. Remember, your dog will be your friend, your partner, your defender. You are his life, his love, his leader. He will be yours, faithful and true to the last beat of his heart. You owe it to him to be worthy of such a devotion. Open your hearts and home to a rescue today. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with SPOT, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's Pet Tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Thank you, Louis Linder, always standing by, ready to help us out each and every morning on Breakfast with Roger and Friends. I had a busy day yesterday. I had to go to the dentist and get the temporary crown out and the new one in. And boy, it is amazing the difference in techniques and advancement and so forth. I remember going through the same process a number of years ago, and they struggled to get the temporary crown out. This time it was click, click, and I was amazed. I said, that was quick. And I said, did you take the crown out? Yes. I said, I didn't even know about it. And then they put in the new one and push it in place. How's that feel? Well, you know, you really don't know for sure how it feels. I think if it was really bad, you would know. But I said, I think it feels okay. I don't want to make a commitment, I said. You're trying to be funny? No. At any rate, it was bing, bing. I would say the whole thing was done within 5 to 8 minutes, something like that. But I remember years ago, I don't know whether each of you ever had a crown?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have several.
Yeah, so you have several. But didn't it take a little struggle to get the temporary one out?
I've not had that
No.
problem.
Oh, you really? Well, I may be going back in time and maybe 20, 30 years.
You mean
At
you
any rate,
pry it off?
yeah. Well, no, I tell you what, and the dentist didn't do it. The hygienist did it. As a matter of fact, they've trained at Peoria Dental Care their hygienists to do a lot of things that they used to do.
Yeah, they call them dental technicians now. They can
Oh,
assist
so
with.
they're not hygienists?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the hygienist just implies the cleaning.
The
and
cleaning,
the oral care. But yeah, they do some of the procedural stuff now too.
Well, she did everything. The dentist came in, Dr. Micah Roberts, and he put the real one in and said, "How's that feel?" And I said, "It feels pretty good." He left, and well, let me back up a little bit. Took the new one out, and I guess they cleaned it, ran it through the car wash and so forth. And then I guess they put a cement on it, and then he put it in, and cotton pad or whatever, you chew down on that.
Yeah.
And then he left, and so did she. We'll be back. And I think they went out to talk about who to bet on, a horse race or whatever. But he never came back. She came back, and then she did the trimming of, I guess, the excess glue.
Uh-huh.
Or do you call it adhesive?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
but in the word,
Yeah.
in the simple word, it's glue. And she did all the trimming of it and said, that's it. I couldn't believe how quick it went.
Don't you just wish you had a spit bowl, though?
Well, she did that.
I miss the spitball.
I miss the spitball.
What they called the duck, you know. And you'd
Well, you know, we did the Bill Cosby thing,
yeah, I know.
which is pretty accurate.
Very accurate.
Type of thing. Do both of you go to the same dentist that you have been for years and years?
No.
Or did you make a change?
Well, mine retired, so I had to go find somebody new. So
Mm-hmm. How about you? Or do you do it yourself?
I have done some things.
Yeah, I imagine, yeah.
But no, I had to. I had to change.
Yeah.
There was, and it wasn't because he retired. I just didn't like
You didn't feel
the
comfortable?
service I had, and moved to a different one. And
Well, anyway, what I'm getting to without getting too personal, so then I left there, and then went to Chillicothe for a funeral that was held, the service held at graveside, which was, and interestingly and sadly, it was the wife of the husband who passed away a couple of weeks ago. And so we're back at the same cemetery, and this time it was for the wife. And the weather was really nice. There was a cool breeze, but as long as the sun was out and you were in the sun, it was very comfortable. And then from there, they had a reception at the Amvets Hall in North Pekin with lots of good food, catered by Childers. And the food was excellent. And yesterday it seemed like all I was doing was eating. Have you ever gone through that?
I mean, did you just graze all day long?
Yeah. That's what. It is grazing.
Yes.
And I ate before I went to the graveside service. I won't tell you where, but it was formerly known as Club McDonald's. And I don't know why I did, because the hamburger was so thin that all you tasted was the bun. Now, I admit it was a kid's meal, so that's on the cheap side, less than $6 for everything. But I wasn't, the stomach was still saying, yeah. So then afterward, then they had food all over the place at the, whatever you call the meal after the service and so on. I got home and I continued to eat. Now, is there something misfiring in the neurons and so forth of your brain but I was constantly eating. I got on the scale this morning and said, come back when you're alone. I mean, I felt like all I was doing, and I was constantly full, but still had this craving for food.
Sounds like an Ozempic deficiency.
What do you call it? Oh, that was a little humor. Okay.
Humor. A
Yeah.
little dead
I listened to some people afterward where we were eating, and they were talking about the success of Ozempic, and I think wasn't Ed Parker talking about it after
His
the
wife
show
was
yesterday?
Lost, what did he say, 40?
Yeah,
70.
70 pounds.
70 pounds
70
on
pounds.
Ozempic. Wow.
On one, I don't
Now,
think he
did
said
they
Ozempic.
come out-
It wasn't Ozempic,
Said
but it
one
was.
of the GLP-1.
Yeah. Now those drug and I guess that's what you call them. They came out after you retired, did they not? Or was it
initially
available when you?
they were not approved for weight loss at the time I was still practicing. I retired in 2016. But they had been on the market for several years as a diabetic treatment because they do lower blood sugar. They increase the levels of insulin in the bloodstream, and they help control blood sugar, and they were very effective at that. At that time, it was known that people could lose weight on them, and I had several people that were on them and did lose weight, but it really wasn't recognized how effective they were for that, and they had not yet been approved for that purpose. And so, yeah, we were just starting to learn some of those things.
Well, you can't argue with it when you hear from Ed talking about Emma losing so much weight on it. Is it a shot? Is that what I see on the
There are
spot?
now oral forms which have come out just in the last year or year and a half, but up until then it was an injection, a daily injection.
Is it pricey?
Oh, yes. Yeah, when it first came out, it was about $27,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
And
Well, I don't want to lose weight
because it was a new drug, there were no generic alternatives, so you had to pay the brand name price for it. Insurance covered some, I'm sure, for many people, but that's still a lot, and I don't think they would have covered all of it. So yeah, that sometimes limited how often you could prescribe it for people, but the prices come down tremendously, and
As they usually do.
and there's now, I think, 12 different drugs that are GLP-1
available.
drugs, and 3 or 4 of them are oral, and the others are still injectable ones. The injectable ones are more effective. The oral ones, because oral drugs, you get a less predictable absorption into the bloodstream, and it varies from patient to patient more. That probably limits the effectiveness a little bit, but it just makes them a little bit easier to prescribe for a lot of people who don't want to take shots.
The weight loss program that gets me is the one where you go in the front door, have the surgery, come out the back door, and you suddenly are beautiful.
Like the Sonobello.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Advertised on TV. Yeah, it's some kind of a weight.
Well, isn't that like liposuction?
It's similar
surgery?
to liposuction using some kind of.
But it's non-invasive. I mean,
It uses some kind of sonar infrared treatment.
It's made by Hoover Vacuum.
That's supposed to mobilize your fat, and it's carried away by your body somehow.
I don't know, but if it would work, I'd sign up for it.
It's got limits.
You don't need to sign up
You can't
for
lose
it.
a lot like you can with a liposuction, but it's good for sculpting things like your neck and face,
My chipmunk cheeks.
cheeks maybe. Yeah.
Well, coming up in the next hour on Breakfast with Roger and Friends, we're going to talk to the Republican nominee for governor, Darren Baley. We're going to talk about the Governor Pritzker budget and also where the Chicago Bears are going to be playing football in the future. So stay tuned.
And Roger, we apologize to Darren because his name got misspelled on the YouTube text here.
It did.
It's Bailey, I believe, isn't it?
B-A-I-L-E-Y.
Yeah, on YouTube it's Bailey.
Okay. Well, shame on whoever it was that spelled that. I think that might have been me.
you do the
I'll take full credit for it.
you do the marquee or whatever.
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything here, including vacuum the studio. Anyway, don't go away. News, weather, sports coming up next. It is Friday, Juneteenth, and we welcome you to Breakfast with Roger and Friends. And we start with a check of the weather, and it's brought to you by Mr. Weather himself, who will join us a little later on this morning during the 8 o'clock hour, Kyle Varnold. Kyle's in the insurance business, providing personal and business insurance for auto, home, life, and health. He works with a variety of companies to get you the best price for the best coverage for individuals, families, and businesses. And you can talk to Kyle, no obligation, at 309-682-0519. That's 682-0519. We're still under a flood warning until further notice. The Illinois River expected to crest at 19.6 feet by tomorrow morning. Flood stage, you know, is 18 feet. Weather-wise, today will be sunny and bright, just like our morning show. High near 80. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 61. 30% chance for showers after midnight. Tomorrow, sunny, 82 tomorrow night. Increasing cloudiness with a chance for rain after midnight. Showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for Sunday. Some could become heavy. The high Sunday 75, Monday sunny and 77. Right now our temperature at 60 degrees, and that's your live weather picture, complete with the current temperature. Meteorologist, as we mentioned, Kyle Varnold joins us live in the studio during the next hour of our program. Now with the news, here's Terry.
It was a big day yesterday for former President Barack Obama and his former First Lady Michelle as they headlined the opening of the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. The ceremony, closed to the public, featured former Presidents Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and George W. Bush. Cost estimates have varied by the national media, but it's considered the most expensive presidential library in history. Much of the rhetoric by speakers focused on criticizing President Donald Trump, who was not invited to attend. The public opening of the center is today.
Governor J.B. Pritzker was on hand for the ceremony after making a crucial correction on his budget. WLS News reported the governor used his item and reduction veto powers to eliminate over $500 billion in spending erroneously included in the 2027 year budget. If not corrected, but it was, that amount of money would have been allocated to the Chicago branch of the NAACP. The agency is supposed to receive really just $500,000. Too many zeros on the numbers. In other news,
Speaking of that budget, the largest spending plan in state history, we'll talk about it with Darren Baley, Republican candidate for governor, around 7:30 this morning. You won't want to miss our interview, since Baley has some important information to share about where the Chicago Bears will be playing football after they leave Soldier Field in the Windy City.
In world news, the oil is flowing, the drones are grounded, and the fighting has ended in the Iran war. The president and his administration are happy. Some critics are not, including the war hawks, who apparently want to resume the bombing to bring about regime change. I think we've all heard that from some of the retired generals. Israel is also disappointed, and Iran's current leaders dispute Trump's assessment of the 60-day deal. With American military might remaining in the area, only time will tell whether there will be peace in the valley.
No peace in the war between Ukraine and Russia. Score a big one for the Ukrainians. For the second time in a week, Ukraine drones hit a major oil refinery in Moscow, killing 3 people and injuring others. It was the largest and deadliest attack on Moscow since the war started 4 years ago. And there were reports Russia is suffering massive casualties, with few soldiers available in reserve.
You know, you don't hear a lot about that, and I've read some accounts from different news sources, not all of them friendly to the Trump administration, and Russia has lost thousands of soldiers and thousands more injured, and according to the last account I read, I think it was from Reuters, indicating that normally when they lose a number of soldiers in a battle or in some region, they bring up reserves. They don't have the reserves anymore. So if you're a young man, and I don't know if the conscription includes women, you may want to leave Russia and study in other parts of the world before you get called to go fight the Ukrainians, for that matter. Anyway, how about turning to some local news? You heard it on our program Wednesday morning from defense attorney Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan said in court yesterday his client, Peoria Heights Mayor Matt Wigington, wants a jury to decide whether he's guilty or not guilty of driving under the influence. The mayor was arrested by Peoria police as he sat in his vehicle. Some say he was sleeping in the parking deck of the Bear Marquette Hotel after attending that gridiron dinner. The vehicle allegedly was not running with the keys in Wigington's coat pocket. Anyway, the judge set July 20th for the trial by jury.
Big day today for Peoria community leader Pat Sullivan. Sullivan celebrates his 75th birthday and his announced retirement. The birthday bash starts at 5 p.m. at his famous eatery, Kelleher's Irish Pub, with the big band sound of Rick Simkins and his West McQueen Street Band. We'll talk with Rick, a Peoria High graduate, like Sullivan, at 8:15 this morning. MC of the fun, our very own Eddie Parker.
Today we are observing Juneteenth, marking the end of slavery in the United States. The day became a federal holiday back in 2021. However, back on June 19, 1865, some details. Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, with some 2,000 troops to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation, which was declared by President Abraham Lincoln 2 years earlier. Now we have news from WCBU, brought to you by Steve Sink. He is a certified business intermediary with PHX affiliates. Steve has been a business broker for over 20 years, and he has sold businesses large and small. And he specializes in business valuations. You can get information about what Steve and PHX affiliates do by calling Steve Sink at 309-696-8508. Now news from WCBU.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Charlie Schlenker. The Washington Plaza Shopping Center is getting a makeover with a $500,000 investment. Washington's City Council has approved a development agreement with owner Sam Baley. The pact includes adding a quarter-acre of green space and resurfacing the pothole-filled parking lot. Alderperson Bobby Martin III chairs the city's Economic Development Commission. He says Teabali could be convinced to return the plaza to its original name, Sunnyland Plaza.
I think he's open to it, but as of right now, he calls it the Washington Plaza. He's open to almost anything.
The city will maintain the green space. In addition to fixing the parking lot, Washington Plaza management will install exterior security cameras. Illinois is hoping to prevent gaps left by federal cuts to Medicaid. Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed a bill aiming at maintaining access to health care for Illinois Medicaid recipients. The bill includes roughly $110 million in state spending to expand Medicaid services, support safety net hospitals, and invest in long-term care programs. Saturday night brings the last summer before the summer solstice, and if the skies are clear, it could be a great night for stargazing at the century-old North Moor Observatory in Donovan Park. The Peoria Astronomical Society is in its 71st season of hosting Saturday public viewings throughout the summer. Program Chair Chris Schmidt says they have many options for seeing stars and planets.
We've got the little building that the dome is in, and then we've got scopes outside. We also have a pair of binoculars, and you can do naked eye observings.
Gatherings start at sunset and typically last into the 11 o'clock hour. Some government offices will be closed tomorrow in observance of the Juneteenth holiday, though others remain open. Peoria City Hall is also open, so is the Peoria County Courthouse. Some offices in the building will be closed. Those include the County Clerk's Office, Probation Services, and the Regional Office of Education. I'm Charlie Schlenker.
Let's get into the world of sports, and the guy who knows sports is Dr. Gene Sidler, brought to you by BradleyFans.com. What do you have, Gene?
And we'll start first with some baseball news. Yesterday's baseball scores: the St. Louis Cardinals lost to the Kansas City Royals 14-6. Fell behind early and never quite made up much of that difference. The Cardinals record falls to 40-33. Still looking better for the Cardinals than I think a lot of people expected. We're in a bit of a rebuilding cycle, and that's good for second place in the National League Central, 5.5 games behind the Brewers, who lost yesterday as well. Cardinals will play the Royals again tonight. The Chicago Cubs were off yesterday. The Cubs 39-36 are 7.5 games back of the Brewers. They will be back in action today. They host the Toronto Blue Jays in a series that starts with an afternoon game today. And the Chicago White Sox beat the New York Yankees 5-1 to salvage the third game of that three-game series out at Yankee Stadium, and they're still tied for first place in the American League Central with the Cleveland Guardians. White Sox are starting a series in Detroit tonight against the Tigers. Peoria Chiefs played a doubleheader last night with the Dayton Dragons to make up for Wednesday's rainout, and it wasn't pretty. Game one, the Chiefs lost 3-1, but game two, they lost 18-1. Stopped that game early with the 10-run rule. The Chiefs 32-34 on the season, and the 66 games ends the first half of the season, so they'll start over again here now with a game tonight. They resume play against the Dayton Dragons tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. And in the College World Series, it's down to the final two teams, North Carolina and Oklahoma. They will play the best of 3 game series to determine the champion, with the first game on Saturday, games to follow on Sunday and Monday if necessary. Oklahoma's won the College World Series twice before, back in 1951 and the last time in 1994. North Carolina is looking for their first College World Series championship. And in golf news, the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills Golf Club in Southampton, New York. After the first day yesterday, the leader was American Wyndham Clark, who was 6 under par through 16 holes. When play was stopped due to darkness, they'll finish that first round here this morning and then play the second round as well today. And in World Cup soccer, there are 4 matches today. That includes the U.S. men playing their second game in the tournament. And they will play Australia in a match in Seattle. Both teams are 1-0 so far. The U.S. beat Paraguay 4-1 last Friday, and Australia won their first game 2-0 over Turkey last Saturday. Today's match is on the Fox Network at 2 p.m. U.S. team favored by 1.5 goals. And, of course, the concern we mentioned last hour is that their top player, Christian Pulisic, has been nursing a calf strain that he suffered in the game against Paraguay last Friday. He left the game at halftime, did not return. That was the game they won 4-1, so he really wasn't needed. But he has not trained or practiced with the team since that injury, and his status for today is being kept a rather high-level secret. Nobody knows. He did travel with the team to Seattle, but whether he'll play or not, we'll find out when the game gets underway at 2 p.m. this afternoon Central Time. And that's all we got for sports today, right?
All right. So happy you could join us. A gorgeous morning this morning, and we'll take and run with it. A gorgeous day, for that matter. And we have a couple of events that are going on. One is the big birthday and retirement celebration of Pat Sullivan, a well-known Peoria community leader and icon for many years.
Tour.
And yes, at Kelleher's, and food always good. Apparently his son is going to take over, as he probably already has, I do believe. And he was, Pat graduated from Peoria High School and was a Golden Glove boxer, and we mentioned that many years ago they used to have fights Saturday night in the 100 block of South Madison Street. Peoria Journal-Star used to have offices, as I recall, in that area of downtown Peoria. At any rate, Ed Parker, our dear friend, will MC the event. I think he's in Chicago today, so...
No, they're leaving after
after the event?
they postponed their
Trip to Chicago?
Yes.
Well, thank
they
you
can
for
do
that
that.
update, because you can't keep track of this guy. He and Em are gadabouts town, do a lot. But in addition to that, we will remind everybody about the Morton Public Library having a program that starts at 6:30 behind the library in Morton, featuring the Nick Beats. They are, this is the line, capturing the sounds from the British beat era, folk rock, country, and more. And they have two vendors providing food, Twisted Pasta and Sacre Sweets Trolley. Have either one of you enjoyed their food one way or the other?
Nope.
I haven't either.
No.
Then I don't know what Twisted Pasta is, but it sounds good.
I've seen them advertised on TV. They've got like,
Oh, they have? Yeah.
they do like a cone kind of thing with pasta, like lasagna type thing in a twisted. I mean,
So we're
it's-
not talking about SpaghettiOs.
No,
or
no,
anything
not
like
SpaghettiOs.
that. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm going to answer this phone, and while
Well, I was just looking, I'll fill the time here for a second. I was just looking up and found a bio of Pat Sullivan. In addition to just being a boxer, he was a Golden Glove state boxing champion and AAU state champion back from 1970 to 1972. Co-founded the Peoria County Boxing Club in the 1970s and was active in all kinds of other activities. Founded the Richwood Tennis Association and the past president of the Richwood Swim and Dive Association. Has been awarded the Nev Harris. Are you familiar with the Nev Harris Meritorious Service Award?
No.
It's a award given to local Peoria people who have been key in developing activities for others to get involved with. He's also on the board of the Peoria Boys and Girls Club, member of the Peoria Area Heritage Tourism Committee, Riverfront Investors for Development. Whole list of accolades here for Pat Sullivan. He's one of the greatest, nicest guys I've ever met. I've had the opportunity to meet him through my son-in-law, who is very much involved with some of his enterprises. So we've had the good fortune of having a chance to know Pat.
Well,
And I also think that he's not going to just simply retire as he gets older here.
well, we're going to find out because he's on the line.
Oh, really?
Pat, how are you this morning? Happy birthday.
Great.
Yeah. Are you excited about retiring?
Well, it's a different world. And I was going to call you and get some advice.
Yeah, get your own radio show. Tell us
We've got an empty chair here, Roger.
You know, Pat, I was reading a little bit about your biography, and you started life, occupationally speaking, in the carpet business, did you not, for Columbia Rug? And
Yeah, and floor covering. Columbia Rug when they were downtown in 1965.
yeah, and you were a boxer, and I was just telling these two young whippersnappers in the studio that I remember when we had Saturday night fights in downtown Peoria, and that included the Golden Gloves.
Yeah. That was a little bit before my time.
Yeah.
Most of them are at Expo Garden.
Okay,
when I boxed,
I do
yeah.
remember. What weight and why
Thank
did you
goodness.
get into boxing?
Well, I was a little rebel rouser, I guess, according to some people, and Mom called Officer Shadid, who had that area, and said, "Hey, this kid's out on the street, and he's getting in trouble." So he picked me up one night and took me down to Boys and Girls Club on Grinnell. He says, "Hey, go see this guy. If you want to fight, go see this guy." And that was Frank Granadas, who had Boys and Girls Club boxing club.
And it's
I
amazing.
liked it.
And you've been a big supporter of the Boys and Girls Club over the years.
Ever since, yeah, I've been on the board 36 years.
Well, God bless you.
Belonged there for 4, so it's part of home.
How'd you get into the food business?
I was actually a officer's cook, or a cook in the Army, and then when I did floors, I think every bar and restaurant called me because I would work it in the middle of the night, and they had the health department on them for having bad floors, and they kept asking me, "Here, take this over. Here, take this over. Do that." I don't want to be. I know what restaurants are. Well, I knew what cooking was anyhow from the Army, but and then my brother came to town. He got out of Vietnam and went to Bloomington for 5-6 years, and he helped a lot of he helped a distributor over there, a beer distributor, and he helped a lot of guys that were in the business over there. And finally, Ray Gorman down at Gorman's on the river, just north of Ivy Club. It was called Sully's Beach Club when he took it over. But Ray threw me the keys and said, "Here, take this over," because they had floods and I had to fix that kitchen floor all the time. And I said, I got time for it. I got floor business. I said, my brother, let me call my brother. I went over and got my brother, brought him back, showed him, and he bought that from Ray Gorman. And so I started to help my brother in that one and a handful of others that he opened. And then out on Sterling, we did it together. Sullivan's on Sterling there, where Corey's is at.
Okay.
Gee, I had forgotten about that. You know, Pat, and rightly so, you've been the kind of the catalyst for the transformation of the riverfront, and you've really done a good job in inspiring others to come down and be a part of that part of the city's development. What inspired you to get active like that in the community?
I'm not quite sure. I think they said I couldn't do it.
That helps.
Yeah. You know, I was born and partly raised at the Warner Homes down here. So it's only 6 blocks away, and I figured if something goes wrong, I can walk home. You know? But what happened was actually a great number of people helped. Mr. Bill O'Neill, my father-in-law, Owen Raynow, had a casket distributing business, and this is when the city was going to build a new police station, and they were going to tear down his building, and they were going to eminent domain him and tear down his building. So he bought 114 State Street, right across from O'Neill Trucking, and he bought that for just in case they do that to him, he's got a place to go. Well, he sat on it for a handful of years, and my floor cover business was growing. I'd always borrow space from him. Hey, can I borrow some space down there? And pretty soon he said, no, you can't. When they decided not to tear his building down and eminent domain it, he said, no, you can't. You got to buy it. I said, I don't want to buy a building and go down there and fix the roof on the weekends and stuff. And he said, no, you'll do good. And so he made an offer I couldn't refuse, and we used it for floor covering storage for a number of years. And then people started wanting to be coming in there. And I think it was 64, 65, there was a carpenter strike, and so I couldn't work in Peoria. So I went up north and worked in Chicago area on the highway. And ended up, I went into Chicago, to Old Chicago, they called it. They were just then refurbishing that. And I thought that was the coolest thing, to go to a spaghetti house and you have to go through 3 buildings to get to it and so forth. I thought that was the neatest thing. So that sort of stayed in my mind, and that you can't take old buildings and repurpose them. And so that's what happened. And we bought a couple more buildings, and we dealt with Mr. O'Neill Trucking for the O'Neill building, and that's where Kelleher's is at. That was their garage, and then the one next to it where 8-Bit's at, that's where their office and storage was. And then they moved across to where WTVP's at. They moved across there, I believe in 59, the old railroad, Union Railroad burnt, and they tore it down. And so they put their trucking company down here. It was downtown like that, going to the post office for years. And heck, State Street was almost gravel and railroad tracks when we came down here.
Well, it's amazing what has happened along the riverfront, and much of the credit goes to you because you've provided the leadership. Want to wish you a happy birthday, happy retirement. Any plans for retirement?
Well, everybody asks that. I don't, other than I want to get on the lake a little bit more. I fish a little.
Yeah.
And I do, but something's bothering me real bad, and that's we got to get these kids off the street.
Yes.
And we got to get them safe. And so I want to help work a little bit with that. And you know what little bit is. And
yeah. A lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, these kids are getting shot in the parks. They're getting shot in the streets. I mean, it's drive-by. It's unbelievable, because that's what growing up, you saw that on the Untouchables. They had drive-by shooting, and then you don't have it for how many years, and then all of a sudden it's back. And we got to fix it.
Well, if anybody can help fix it, it's Pat Sullivan. God bless you. Happy birthday and happy retirement. Don't be a stranger, my friend. Congratulations.
Okay, thanks for having me.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Pat Sullivan, and a big program this afternoon, 5 o'clock, down at Kelleher's on the riverfront. Coming up, our conversation with the Republican nominee for governor, Darren Baley. Stay tuned for that. But first, let's bring you up to date with our news headlines. News at the bottom of the hour brought to you by Bob Manning, Senior Vice President, Financial Advisor with the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley in Peoria. For all your investment needs, call Bob. He's available today at 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Weather-wise, we're still under a flood warning until further notice. The Illinois River expected to crest at 19.6 feet. Tomorrow morning, flood stage, is 18 feet. Otherwise, today will be sunny and bright and a high near 80. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low 61. Tomorrow, sunny and 82. Tomorrow night, increasing cloudiness with a chance for rain after midnight. Showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for Sunday. Some could be heavy. High near 75, and Monday sunny and 77. Right now, our temperature is 62 degrees. Now with the headlines, here's Teri.
A lot of important people gathered in Chicago yesterday to celebrate former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle and the opening of the Obama Presidential Center. The dedicatory ceremony featured former Presidents Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and George W. Bush. Cost estimates have varied by the national media, but it's considered the most expensive presidential library in history. The public opening of the center is today. Governor J.B. Pritzker attended the ceremony after making a crucial correction on his budget. WLS News reported the governor used his item and reduction veto powers to eliminate over $500 billion in spending erroneously included in the 2027 fiscal year budget. If not corrected, that amount of money would have been allocated to the Chicago branch of the NAACP. The agency is supposed to receive only $500,000. Speaking of the budget, the largest spending plan in state history, we'll talk about it with Darren Baley, Republican candidate for governor, at 7:30 this morning. You won't want to miss the interview, since Baley has some important information to share about where the Chicago Bears will be playing football after they leave Soldier Field. Now for some local news. You heard it on our program Wednesday morning from defense attorney Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan said his client, Peoria Heights Mayor Matt Wigington, wants a jury to decide whether he's guilty or not guilty of driving under the influence. The mayor was arrested by Peoria police as he sat in his vehicle in the parking deck of the Pier Marquette Hotel after attending a community dinner in April. The vehicle allegedly was not running with the keys in Wigington's coat pocket when he was nabbed. The judge set July 20th for the trial. Big day today for Prairie Community Leader Pat Sullivan, and we just spoke to Pat. He celebrates his 75th birthday and has announced his retirement. The big birthday bash starts at 5 p.m. at his famous eatery, Kelleher's Irish Pub, with the big band sound of Rick Simkins and his West McQueen Street Band. We'll also be talking with Rick, a Peoria High School graduate, like Sullivan, at 8:15 this morning. The MC of the fun, our very own Eddie Parker. Today is the observance of Juneteenth, which marks the end of slavery in the United States. The day became a federal holiday in 2021. On June 19, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, with some 2,000 troops to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation issued by President Abraham Lincoln. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, thank you. Coming up, our conversation with Darren Baley. Stay tuned. In the meantime, we pause for this important message.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. But every driver seeks the pinnacle of their achievements. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
And it's our pleasure this morning to welcome to our program the Republican nominee for governor of the state of Illinois, Darren Baley. Good morning, Darren.
Well, good morning. It's great to be here today. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you actually live on a farm?
I actually do. Yes.
That's what
and
I thought.
We were in Chicago. Last night, and we went ahead. We drove home for the weekend to celebrate Father's Day and a few meetings here on the farm. But yep, we've got a big red barn in our on our lot here, and yep.
I was going to
corn
say,
all around us.
Yeah. Were you raising corn or raising hay in Chicago? No, never mind.
There you go. Well, I was reminding them where corn comes from, but yes, I was raising hay as well. Yes, I love that.
Yeah. At any rate, well, let's begin with a conversation about the governor's budget and your thoughts.
Well, I mean, it's all common sense. Everyone listening has. We all live within our means. We can't spend more than we make, and when we find ourselves, in some trouble and the money's not coming in like it should, or we face a problem, something happens at work, something happens with our health, something unexpectedly happens with our car or our home, we have to make adjustments. And the problem with Pritzker is that he doesn't understand that. And more power to him for what he has. But the problem with the billionaire-class governor is that he has nothing in common with us. The man's probably never filled up his own gas tank. He's never had to worry about paying a mortgage or paying a utility bill. So the answer for him and the class that's ruling Springfield right now, or whatever they can dream up, whatever idea they can come up with, whatever they think needs to happen, well, that means it takes more money. More money is the answer to everything. And when I first got elected as a state representative in 2019, the Illinois budget was $34 billion. And today it sits at $56 billion. And there is not anyone in the state that I've run into yet that feels good about that can say, yes, I think that's fine. It's helping me. Everything is better. We have a 50-cent gas tax. Anyone that lives near a state border is driving across the border to fill up, and then they go eat out and they spend money in a business. It's killing us. $800 million to $1.4 billion. See, they don't even know. We can't even put our fingertip on the actual increase of spending this year. Zero, no tax relief whatsoever, more burden on corporations like Caterpillar and many others who, you scratch your head at the end of the day and you ask yourself, why are they still here? And that is the dilemma that we're facing in Illinois. People are leaving. New business is refusing to come back into the state because of this high tax environment. And it is really simple. We've got to weed out the problem. Make this budget transparent, be accountable to the people, and I know that when we do that, last year alone, $2.5 billion at least was spent on people who are here illegally, giving them free stuff when we should have been taking care of our veterans and our seniors, so no, we have a dire problem because our J.B. Pritzker and his Democrat representatives, everyone who voted for that budget, the only solution they have is more money, and the only place that money is to be found is in your pocket, and those days have to end.
Yeah, it is the largest state budget in history. And I've always wondered this question, whether it's today, last year, or 10 years ago. Why don't lawmakers cut spending? Because that's what we have to do. If we can't afford, we don't have enough money to pay for certain things, we cut certain things. But unfortunately, lawmakers, and sometimes on both sides of the aisle, just raise more taxes. I know one of the things in the budget is an increase in the gas tax. They've postponed it for now, but that's just what we need when gas prices are high, although they're coming down. Praise President Trump for that. But we just seem to elect people that know how to tax and spend.
Well, here's the problem, and to your first comment, why? The why is that many times when we elect someone to these positions, listen, these positions are cushy jobs. Let's not make any bones about it. These people are getting paid over $100,000 now to show up in Springfield and just come up with a bunch of garbage for 6 months. I mean, they start in January and they're out. This isn't even 6 months. They're out in May. I mean, and then they're only showing up in Springfield half the time. These are part-time positions. So maybe that's something that we really need to kind of take a look at. Many other states, pay half that or even less. I mean, this is supposed to be a position of servitude where you're serving the people. So maybe we need to go back and take a good hard look at what these people are doing, and maybe they need to retain their full-time jobs or whilst coming and serving in Springfield. Because truth be known, the business that takes place there, it doesn't take all year. It doesn't even take 6 months. It just, people can come together like our founding fathers did for a time and take care of business. And what I find is that re-election, so to your question, why? Well, re-election, because you're always, I served for 17 years on the school board, and if we bought the girls' basketball team uniforms, well, then the boys' baseball team thought they needed, anytime you make change, whether you spend more money and give to somebody or you take it away, you're going to tick somebody off. But the reality is these people don't want to make anybody mad because their number one goal is not serving the people, it's staying re-elected. So for them to keep everybody happy, you don't take anything away. You just keep giving. But we are to a point, we're tapped out here in Illinois. This 50-cent gas tax, and it can be suspended. We've got $3 billion setting in the road fund right now, and it's been setting there for a while. That's kind of the money, the amount that they maintain. So people need relief. They need relief from property taxes. They need relief from gas taxes. They need relief from utility costs, and all of that can be directed from the governor's office. But J.B. Pritzker, in his arrogance, pride, ignorance, I don't know what it is, he just refuses to consider any of that.
Darren, the political odds are against you, against Republicans for that matter. How are you dealing with it, and how's the campaign going?
Well, we've just got to work harder because I'm telling you, the odds actually aren't. Most people look, and if I travel somewhere and somebody sees me and they oh, you're from Illinois, and then oh gosh, you are fighting against a billionaire governor. The odds, if the people will show up and exercise not their right but their duty to vote, we can change this. And the beauty of changing this is that you've got someone who's worked for his living, worked all my life, served, and to get a Republican governor in office who will work with both sides, throw all this political division to the side, and focus on affordability, focus on safety, and focus on education. How long has it been since we've actually had a governor on either side of the aisle show up and actually work for the people, run the state like a business, run it like we have to operate our home? Hey, I bet no one can remember when the last time that's taken place, because people show up, they cut deals, they want to get their name on a sign somewhere, and so the people, especially in Chicago, where Cindy and I are spending the bulk of our time, we have an apartment up there now, it is a completely different atmosphere than it was 4 years ago. People are fed up, they're tired, cost of livings went up, their property taxes have skyrocketed the last 4 years. So they're ready. We've just got to convince them to vote. That's what this whole constitutional republic is about, is voting. And 4 years ago, when we came up short, it was because the people stayed home. We had a low voter turnout all across the board. That is the only reason we lost. And now things are a lot different. And if we can just get the people to show up and vote, we will win, and we can turn this state, get it turned around, back on the right direction.
We're talking with Darren Baley, Republican candidate for the governor of Illinois. Now, you indicate you have a place in Chicago, and you're in a small town in southern Illinois. Xenia, is that the way you pronounce it?
That is our home, yes. That's my address. Xenia is my hometown. Louisville, like Louisville, Kentucky. 30 miles south of Birmingham. That's my hometown, but yep.
Yeah, but I started to say, but governor, a little slip of the political tongue there.
Hey,
then you
speak it.
Okay, you go to Chicago. That has to be cultural shock. You don't hear any moo. Instead, you hear "stick 'em up." I mean, that's a little different, isn't it, Darren?
Well, it is different, but I'm telling you, as Cindy and I, wherever we go, people are coming up to us. We're not wearing Bailey shirts or anything. It's just Cindy and I and maybe somebody else. If we go into a restaurant, I mean, on and on. We get in an Uber. It was in an Uber last week, and a gentleman, he was a Cambodian. He was an American citizen. He'd been here for about 20 years, I found out later. But we've got about a 10-minute ride in the city to where we're going, and I'm sitting directly behind him, and I keep noticing he's looking up in his mirror. He keeps looking at me, and it's just like, this is kind of weird. What's going on? Well, Cindy struck up a conversation with him, and then we got to talking politics, and then Cindy mentioned, well, Darren's running for governor. And I mean, he said, I thought that was you, and he was so excited. We're driving down Chicago traffic. It's busy. He pulls his phone out, gets on FaceTime with one of his friends. Look who I've got in the back seat. So people are ready for change. They are. We just got to get up there and engage with them and help them understand that, you know, aside from this accent, get over it. I am like you. I want to help you. We have got to work together. We don't care who the president is. We don't care what the problems are. We're all suffering, and the state of Illinois has got to bind together, come up with solutions. And I think when we do that here in Illinois, I think this next go-around, I think the change that we usher in is going to be as powerful as Illinois' prominence during the Civil War. I think we've got the potential to turn all this around. We've just got to, you need someone like myself to show up who's not afraid to say it, who's not afraid to do it, and I really do. I see a bright future on our horizon, but people have to vote.
Yeah, that's right. Darren, forget the politics for now. Let's talk about Darren Bailey. Tell us a little bit about your parents, and I assume they were farmers as well. Talk about the Bailey family.
Just hard workers. We love life. My dad's philosophy used to be, they're still living. They'll be 83 this year. Is work hard so you can play hard. So work always came first. I grew up on a farm. I didn't play summer baseball because I was out. You know, he needed me on a tractor, and I just learned the ethic of work, and I loved it. And my mom, like I said, we were in church every Sunday. My mom was when I did play basketball during the winter and have events at school, every day when we'd come home, my sister and I would have a meal set before us. She was a homemaker, and it was just an amazing life. But yet we enjoyed life. We went on vacation, whatever it was. If it was camping, if it was boating at the lake, but work hard to play hard. I learned my work ethic, being a farmer and renting ground. My dad always taught me, you always be honest. You never cheat anyone because it'll come back and get you. And always think, always be smart. And so that's my parents. Just hard work ethic, but yet the kind of work ethic that worked to as we do here in America, to be rewarded, so that we could have things, so that we could enjoy life. And that's what I'm seeing stripped away from the people of Illinois right now. I'm seeing this dream stripped away. Families are just caught in this conundrum of of what do. We show up, we're working 2 and 3 jobs, or everything that I have is being taken away from the government, and I have nothing to enjoy life with at the end of the day. So that's the American dream that I want to bring back here to Illinois. That my lifestyle of being able to work, being able to, and we're all caught in that exact same. We're all caught in the same situation today, that where the government is taking too much from us, and we can't enjoy life to the extent that this American dream is meant to allow us, and that is that's why my dad served on a school board. I turned around, served 17 years on a local school board. I was rose up through the ranks as a deacon and elder in our local church, and just a community leader. Cindy and I are both Rotarians. I also serve as a Gideon, handing out Bibles. Cindy and I started Forgover Christian Academy when we realized that our area needed just our schools in our area are great, but we just wanted something to offer a little bit different. So when we see something that needs changed, we step up and make the difference. And when my state representative supported a 32% tax increase in 2017, I got a little lippy about it. And today the American thing's kind of easy. You go on Facebook and you complain, and that's what I did. And I got called out. People nobody realized what was going on. And when they did realize, and when they did express their frustration, they came back to me and they said, "We want you to serve as our state representative." And that's where it all started. I realized that, I started something here, and I need to be prepared to follow this through. And anyway, we prayed, we fasted, and it was apparent that this was our new mission field. So here we are.
Awesome.
Hi, Darren. This is Dr. Gene Sidler, one of the Rogers co-hosts here, and I got a couple of questions. I noticed, looking back at some numbers from the previous election, that you actually did better against J.B. Pritzker than incumbent Bruce Rauner did in 2018, and yet you still have a little bit of a gap there to close. And what do you think you need to do to try to make that a closer race and give you a chance? And my other question is about all the companies leaving the state of Illinois. The Caterpillar, Boeing, Citadel, Tyson Foods, thousands and tens of thousands of jobs, tax revenues being taken away by other states. And now we've got the Chicago Bears. And is there anything that can be done to stop this exodus of some of the great names of companies that have been leaving the state of Illinois due to the ineptitude of our state government and our governor?
Thank you. Your question entails everything that the whole circle of law I'm running on. So I'll start with your latter question. Illinois, the corporate tax here in Illinois is twice as what it is in any state around us, and the mandates when businesses come. This affordable housing, the build project that J.B. Pritzker was trying to push, and he was wanting to build, low-income housing and really nice residential neighborhoods. Well, the capstone was to pull all the regulations. If somebody comes into your area and wants to build a home or wants to build a housing project, there are so many millions of dollars worth and months of regulations that the state government has created and allowed, and it costs too much. So that's the capstone, pulling all these regulations out. And it's the same way with business. When they're here, there's so many tax, so many loopholes, so many hurdles to get over. So you're right, Peoria, John Deere, many of our wonderful Navistar, they're going outside of the state and building new projects. They're not staying here because it makes no sense. And their infrastructure right now is so large here that it just can't quite afford to pull stakes and leave. They will one of these days if we don't turn this around. So all we've got to do is work with our corporate tax rate. We've got to remove a lot of these barriers. And everyone wants to be here in Illinois. We got the Great Lakes. We got the rivers on both sides. We got rails. We got roads. We're in the center of the nation, the heartbeat. Everyone wants to be here. So we've got to create the climate so that they return. Because when they return, business returns or people return. And then that's it, right? That is our answer. That's our only answer. Less government, less regulation, more people paying taxes, lessening the burden for us, and then this economic engine. You got a state like Indiana that has a little over half of our population. We got 12 million people. They got 7. their budget is a little under half of what ours is. Our budget's $56 billion, theirs is $24. Yet they've got a $5 billion surplus setting in their budget. So yeah, they can come over and lower the Bears over with cash, and that's what they're doing. And not only that, this deal with the Bears, this was done several years ago. They went to J.B. Pritzker. They went to the General Assembly leaders, and it's crickets. As a matter of fact, it was during COVID was finishing up, and everybody was out of town. They wouldn't even come to the table to talk to the Bears. So the Bears went to Indiana. Indiana saw an opportunity, and they grabbed it. Back to the election. Let me throw out just a few quick numbers for you. J.B. Pritzker first run against Rauner. He got 2.4 million votes. When he ran against me, it was 2.2 million votes. Everything happened. There are a lot of Democrats are turning on him. So we believe our data and our numbers show that it's going to be a race to 2 million votes. So we believe his third term and the burden of people in Illinois, we believe last 4 years ago his 2.2 is going to turn into 2 million or less. So what do we do with that? Well, I got 1.8 million votes. To your point, we did a little better than Rauner did, but so we believe that is a floor. We believe that's solid. Those are patriots that are still here, that are still in our corner. They're going to show up and vote. So that's a floor. So in 2024, there were 750,000 more people that showed up and voted for President Trump than voted for me, 2 years earlier. And that is typical. Sometimes these midterm elections, people just don't turn out. So what we've got to do at a bare minimum is find just 30% of those people. If we can rally up a third of those people, 250,000, bring them to the table, get them to vote, we've got a victory in our hands, and we can start the turnaround story of Illinois. So that's the and then we've got to go after those people. We've got to go out. We've got to remind our friends to get registered to vote. We've got to take them by the hand to vote. We've got work to do as Americans, but we've done it before. We can do it again, and that is where we believe this victory will come from.
One final question, and this really puts you on the spot. Will the Bears be playing in Indiana in the future or Arlington Heights?
I'm going to tell you right now, I do believe wholeheartedly that the deal's cast. The die's been cast. I mean, I heard that. I talked with Governor Braun from Indiana a week and a half ago, and I really just wasn't going to repeat that, but he has since went public with that. So, and he's telling people why. He's being very upfront. When the Bears came to him, the McCaskey family, it was out of frustration because no one in Illinois, they were gone. They were checked out. And they said they tried for months to get a hold of people in Illinois. And, big business, that's what you do. You think ahead. You don't just decide the day before or the year before you're going to do something. They knew they wanted to do something, needed to do something. And I'm not going to give Pritzker or the Democrat leaders a pass by any means, but the reality also is we're broke. We're broke. So the only solutions that we saw in Springfield, and there people are still kind of coming up with this, are these, just more tax relief. Zero for the Bears. The Bears, even though they're a sports team and they bring a lot of money to the state, they're no different than John Deere or Caterpillar. They're a business. So these same regulations, same taxes apply to them. Businesses get tax breaks as well. But these Bears, the situation was just people just wanted to hand money out. And my argument from the beginning was we give no money out to anyone until we offer tax relief to our people. It's because the people, you get more and more people leave the state, and then we've got less. Then we've got an increased burden on you and I. So let's suspend the gas tax for 6 months or a year, and let's push down these utility rates, which are being driven up because of the bad deals with the data centers. I mean, it's just on and on and on. We have incompetent leaders in Springfield. We have an incompetent governor that are just handing out dollars to keep everybody happy, that it backfired on them because they forgot about the very people that elected them, we the people.
Darren Baley, pleasure talking to you this morning, and I love your accent now. Is Xenia on which side of the Mason-Dixon line?
Well, I suppose for Illinois, we'd probably be on the southern side,
Okay.
but for the nation, we are in free country here, so we're good. It's interesting. because if you were to talk to my father or any one of my sons on the phone, you would not tell us apart. So it's just a kind of a regional dialect here. I do not know where I picked it up or why, but it does pose a problem.
No, it doesn't pose. I love it.
Sometimes people can't get over it, so it's just like, guys, listen, it doesn't matter. Let's focus on the reality that we have a problem and it needs fixed.
Does everybody in Xenia talk like you?
No, they don't.
Oh, okay.
There is a regional. They're not everybody.
No.
Now wait a minute. Let's just wait a minute. Maybe you have an accent.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
Me.
I remember when I was a single guy, me and a couple of buddies went to Florida, and we met some young ladies, and we went to lunch with them, and they kept laughing at the way we talked. I said, we don't have a Southern accent like you. You all don't know how to talk, they said. So
I tell my friends in Chicago, let's think about this. There were people in Southern Illinois before there were settlers in Chicago area. But anyway, just something we can have fun with.
Well, we've had fun talking to you all this morning, Darren. Keep up the good work.
This has been a blessing. Yeah. Thank you. Let's do it again later.
God loves you, and so do we. Thanks, Darren.
God bless you. Thank you.
Darren Baley, candidate for governor in the state of Illinois. We'll be right back after this message.
It's the Animal Stories News Team Anchorman. Me, Uncle Lair, him, Little Tommy.
You know, Uncle Lair, I'm worried that a lot of people out there haven't made plans about how they're going to take care of their pets in case of a disaster or emergency and they have to evacuate.
I sense the caring and the genuine concern in your voice, Tommy.
Well, because those disasters have a way of sneaking up without any warning and unleashing devastating fury.
Oh, maybe a touch over dramatic, but well put.
And that's why you should make plans now, not someday. Someday could be too late.
Everything you need to know to handle the aforementioned situation is available online at ready.illinois.gov.
Where?
Ready.illinois.gov.
Yeah, sponsored by the Illinois Emergency Management Agency.
And aired in cooperation with the Illinois Broadcasters Association.
And this station.
Hey, that was fun. Great interview, great conversation. Seems like a really down-to-earth, neat guy, Darren Baley, running for the governor of the state of Illinois. In the next hour, we're going to talk to a local guy, graduate of Peoria High School, Rick Simkins of West McQueen Street Band. Have you heard them?
I
haven't either, but boy, people rave about it. How about you, Gene?
No, I've not heard of him. I did look up Rick Simkins, and I found that he's been a member of several different bands leading up to the current one. But apparently it's very well known around the city as a musician.
Well, we're going to chat with him in the next hour. And, of course, Mr. Weather will be here as well. Give us a scoop, a live weather report, something that's unique in Peoria Radio. And Kyle Barnard, we always enjoy him any day of the week, but particularly going into the weekend. So stay tuned. You're having breakfast with Roger and friends on WAZU FM 90.7 in Peoria, Illinois, and also on YouTube. Good morning to everybody watching and listening to us on YouTube. Good morning. It's Friday, June 10th, and it's 8:02, and we begin with a check of the weather, as we do each and every morning on our program. And the weather this morning brought to you by our good friend Sam Lilly and Associates, and these folks providing a comprehensive range of insurance products, including personal auto, home, life, and medical coverage. Sam specializes, as we've been talking for some time, in Medicare plans and option. That's something he's been doing during his more than 40 years in the insurance industry. Sam knows insurance. You get more information from Sam Lilly. If you have any questions at all, at 309-245-4374. Boys and girls, we're still under a flood warning until further notice. That's because the Illinois River expected to crest at 19.6 feet by tomorrow morning, and flood stage, as you probably know, 18 feet. So the creek are rising, and the other Illinois rivers as well. Weather-wise today will be sunny and bright, and a high of 80. Gorgeous morning, gorgeous day. Tonight partly cloudy with a low of 61. There's a chance for some showers, 30% after midnight, so don't worry about it this evening. Tomorrow sunny and 82. Tomorrow night increasing cloudiness, a chance for rain after midnight. Showers and thunder boomers in the forecast for Sunday. Some of those showers could become heavy. The high a mild 75 degrees. Monday sunny and 77. And the last time we checked, it was 63 degrees. Now with our lead story, Terry Chamberlain.
It was a big day yesterday for former President Barack Obama and, of course, former First Lady Michelle, as they headlined the opening of the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. The ceremony, closed to the public, featured former Presidents Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and George W. Bush. Cost estimates have varied by the national media, but it is considered the most expensive presidential library in history. Much of the rhetoric by speakers focused on criticizing President Donald Trump, who was not invited to attend. The public opening of the center is today.
Governor J.B. Pritzker was on hand for the ceremony after making a crucial correction on his budget. It was kind of a typo error, I guess. WLS News reported the governor used his item and reduction veto powers to eliminate over $500 billion that was in spending erroneously included in the next year's budget. If not corrected, and it was, that amount of money would have been allocated to, of all people, organization, interestingly, the Chicago branch of the NAACP. The agency is supposed to receive not that amount, but only, and I say only in quotation marks, $500,000. Too many zeros on the number 500,000.
Speaking of the budget, the largest spending plan in state history, we talked about it just now with Darren Baley, Republican candidate for governor. As he said, he's got some great ideas and some plans he wants to put into place, but he does say that he's pretty sure the Bears will be playing football from Hammond, Indiana.
And we will see if he's right. And another guy, but he's not running for governor, is our weather guy, Kyle Barnold. You know, he said bank on it. You may recall. I think you two got in a little bit of an argument last Friday.
No, my only contention was that there's still an opening there. And until they actually begin construction in Indiana, Illinois will continue to try some methods to convince the Bears to change their mind on this. So I'm not putting it at 100%. And even Kyle didn't want to say it was 100%, although he did say bank on it.
Well, we'll find out. He's coming in this morning.
Sounds like it's about the same thing, but I still think it's more like 80 to 90% likely that it is going to be Indiana. There has to be some kind of last-ditch effort by Illinois, and they got to do it quick if they're going to make a change in it.
Well, they added the gas tax. That's increased, but it's postponed for the time being. And so now they can add a football tax. And
they will get lots and lots of revenue from the fans coming to see the Bears, but they're going to lose all that over a quibble about property tax.
Over a quibble about taxes.
Yeah.
In world news, the oil is flowing, the drones are grounded, and the fighting has ended in the Iran war. The president and his administration are happy. They seem to be happy with things. Critics are not, including the war hawks, who apparently want to resume the bombing to bring about a regime change. If you listen to some of the retired generals, they're not real happy. They want to bomb the crap out of them. Israel is disappointed, and Iran's current leaders dispute Trump's assessment of the 60-day deal. With American military might remaining in the area, only time will tell whether there will be peace in the valley.
There's no peace in the war between Ukraine and Russia. In fact, scored a big one for the Ukrainians. For the second time in a week, Ukraine drones hit a major oil refinery in Moscow, killing 3 people and injuring others. It was the largest and deadliest attack on Moscow since the war started 4 years ago. And there were reports of Russia suffering massive casualties with few soldiers available in reserve.
Now for some local news. You heard it on our program Wednesday morning from defense attorney Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan said his client, Peoria Heights Mayor Matt Wigington, wants a jury to decide whether he's guilty or not guilty of driving under the influence. The mayor was arrested by Peoria police as he sat and maybe slept in his vehicle in the parking deck of the Pear Marquette Hotel after attending a community dinner. The vehicle allegedly was not running, and the keys were in Wigington's coat pocket. The judge will set, and did set, July 20th for the trial by jury.
Big day today for Prairie Community Leader Pat Sullivan. Sullivan celebrates his 75th birthday and his announced retirement. The birthday bash starts at 5 p.m. at his famous eatery, Kelleher's Irish Pub, with the big band sound of Rick Simkins and his West McQueen Street Band. And we'll be speaking with Rick, who's a Peoria High graduate, just like Sullivan, at 8:15 this morning. Our very own Eddie Parker will be the MC.
Yeah, it'll be a great time, no question. Today we're observing Juneteenth, marking the end of slavery in the United States. The day became a federal holiday in the year 2021, 5 years ago. But we're going back even further, June 19th, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas with some 2,000 troops to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation issued by President Abraham Lincoln just 2 years earlier. That's a look at some of the stories we're following. Now we have news from WCBU presented by Advanced Medical Transport, the premier provider of emergency and scheduled ambulance services in Illinois. You probably know because we've been talking about it for some time. There are more than 500 AMT employees, men and women, dedicated to offering and providing the best in health care. Saving lives is what they do.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Charlie Schlenker. The Washington Plaza Shopping Center is getting a makeover with a $500,000 investment. Washington's City Council has approved a development agreement with owner Sam Baley. The pact includes adding a quarter-acre of green space and resurfacing the pothole-filled parking lot. Alderperson Bobby Martin III chairs the city's Economic Development Commission. He says Teabali could be convinced to return the plaza to its original name, Sunnyland Plaza.
I think he's open to it, but as of right now, he calls it the Washington Plaza. He's open to almost anything.
The city will maintain the green space. In addition to fixing the parking lot, Washington Plaza management will install exterior security cameras. Illinois is hoping to prevent gaps left by federal cuts to Medicaid. Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed a bill aiming at maintaining access to health care for Illinois Medicaid recipients. The bill includes roughly $110 million in state spending to expand Medicaid services, support safety net hospitals, and invest in long-term care programs. Saturday night brings the last summer before the summer solstice, and if the skies are clear, it could be a great night for stargazing at the century-old North Moor Observatory in Donovan Park. The Peoria Astronomical Society is in its 71st season of hosting Saturday public viewings throughout the summer. Program Chair Chris Schmidt says they have many options for seeing stars and planets.
We've got the little building that the dome is in, and then we've got scopes outside. We also have a pair of binoculars, and you can do naked eye observings.
Gatherings start at sunset and typically last into the 11 o'clock hour.
And there you have the news from WCBU. And now let's turn to sports with all the latest. And sports this morning brought to you by BradleyFans.com. Here's Dr. Gene Sidler. Good morning, Gene.
Thank you, Roger. Baseball news yesterday, St. Louis Cardinals lost to the Kansas City Royals 14-6. Fell behind big in the early innings and never made up the difference. They dropped to 40-33 on the season, but they're still second place, about 5.5 games behind the Brewers. So they're still in potentially contention for that National League Central. The Cardinals will play the Kansas City Royals again tonight second game of that 4-game series. Actually, it's a 3-game series. It's one of those quirky things that baseball has started to do the last couple years. They are playing Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and they're off tomorrow on a Saturday, which sounds strange to me. Why would you not want to play on a Saturday when you get your biggest crowds?
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, their series with Kansas City is a Thursday, Friday, Sunday series. Very odd. The Chicago Cubs were off yesterday. They have a traditional 3-game series starting this afternoon at Wrigley Field against the Toronto Blue Jays. They'll play tomorrow and Sunday as well. And they're 7.5 games back in that National League Central behind the Brewers. Chicago White Sox had a nice game last night, beat the New York Yankees 5-1 thanks to a grand slam homer by Andrew Benintendi in the 8th inning of the game to break a 1-1 tie. They have remained in first place tie with the Cleveland Guardians in the American League Central. White Sox move over to Detroit tonight to begin a 3-game series against the Tigers. And the Peoria Chiefs played a doubleheader last night with the Dayton Dragons to make up for the Wednesday rainout, and they lost both games. First game they lost 3-1 to Dayton, and the second game 18-1. Sounds like they kind of gave up and wanted to go home early.
They did.
Yes, I heard. They had a fireworks display after the game last night. I don't know if that was planned or if they just do that every game.
They had a fireworks during the game.
I noticed it was going off a little bit early for a doubleheader. Yeah. I thought, wow, that's strange. It's only like 8:30 and they're already shooting the fireworks. Well, it's because it was the 10-run rule. They ended the game after 7 innings in that game 2 last night when it was 18-1.
That had to hurt.
Yep. They have had some streaks, winning streaks and losing streaks, kind of alternating all through the year, and they have played better in recent weeks, but still not enough to be in contention for maybe locking up a playoff spot in the postseason. Anyway, we'll move over to college sports. The College World Series is down to the final 2 teams, and this year it's North Carolina and Oklahoma, a couple of teams that we're not used to seeing in the finals of the College World Series. They will play a best-of-3-game series for the championship starting Saturday in Omaha. Oklahoma last won the College World Series in 1994 and in 1951. That's their 2 previous College World Series championships. And North Carolina is looking for their first championship, although they were runners-up twice in 2006 and 2007. In golf news, the U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills in Southampton, New York. After the first day yesterday, the leader was American Wyndham Clark with a 6-under par. I just checked to see, and through the first 4 holes of the second round now, he remains 6-under par and in the lead. Wyndham Clark, a 32-year-old American who's had very limited success on the PGA Tour since he joined in 2018. The favorites in the tournament, John Rahm is 2 strokes back. Rory McIlroy is a couple strokes back, and Scotty Scheffler had a bad day yesterday, was 2 strokes over par and is quite a few strokes back of the lead right now. And World Cup soccer, the big thing going on right now with all the foreign tourists in the U.S. to see the World Cup soccer matches. There are 4 matches today, and they include the U.S. men's team playing their second match. It'll be against Australia in Seattle, and both teams are 1-0 so far. The U.S. beat Paraguay 4-1 last Friday, and Australia beat Turkey in their first game 2-0 last Saturday. So today's match between 2 undefeated teams in the pool Group D. That match is on the Fox network at 2 p.m. It's also on the Fox streaming online site.
Did you say they're playing in the pool?
They do play what's called pool play for the first couple of weeks.
But they're not in the pool.
But they're not actually in the pool.
Okay, I want to make sure.
They divide there's 48 teams. They divide them into 12 4-team pools, and they play each of the other teams in their pool, and the winners of each pool advance. So we'll see how. I think the U.S. is pretty assured of advancing, especially after.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm talking about advancing out of pool.
Out of the pool.
I think almost certainly
it's going to be a tough
U.S.
game.
and Australia will advance, but they've got to beat Australia. They can't afford to lose this game today. They are favored by 1.5 goals.
What time, pardon the expression, what time is kickoff time?
Yeah, kickoff is at 2 o'clock our time, Central Time.
Which cable network?
Yeah, it's on the Fox network on cable, and it's on that Fox Sports 1, which is their streaming online network.
Okay.
For people who prefer to look at.
I
their
wouldn't
phone.
watch the boo tube.
Yeah, I'd watch the big tube.
Not on the
The one concern, as we've mentioned the last couple hours, U.S. team's best player, Christian Pulisic, has been nursing a calf injury. He left at halftime of the first game, that 4-1 win over Paraguay, and he did not return. And there's been really no word of what's been going on with it since then, as soccer teams tend to keep these injury things quite secretive. He has not practiced or trained with the U.S. team for the week since the first game, but he did travel with the team to Seattle, so I think he's going to play, but he might limit his minutes a little bit. We'll see. That's sports.
That's sports. Okay. Well, let's get into the world of music. We have on the line Rick Simkins of the West McQueen Street Band, and it's an honor to have him come on our program. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah. You know, have you made a CD?
Oh yeah, we have 3 CDs that we've made. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I wish I would have gotten a hold of one to play it, because I hear nothing but great things about your band, and I would love to play it on the show. So, where can I get a CD or 2 or 3?
I will get one to you. No problem.
How'd you come up with the name Wes McQueen?
Well, when I was playing earlier in my career, I was trying to make it in the music business, and we were traveling to Chicago, St. Louis, all around the area. And then I got older all of a sudden, and had kids, and decided couldn't do that anymore. I wasn't going to be Paul McCartney, and so I had to decide I was just going to play locally. And so I quit the band that I was in that was traveling, and decided to make a local band. And we always practiced at my mom's house. All that time, my mom loved us being there all the time, and that was on West McQueen Street, which is 1 block over from McClure, but that's where we always practiced. And so we just, let's just name it after the street.
Yeah. You went to Peoria High School. Did you play in the high school band? Back in the days, Rick, when we had high school bands.
I did not. Actually, I was a football star there at Central. I played in the last Turkey Day game in the first state playoffs. And I was just a big Beatles and Doobie Brothers fan, and just loved music. I did get to play once with the orchestra when they did Shaft, and they needed a guitar player with the orchestra. But mostly, I was a sports nut there at Central.
Oh, who was football coach back then?
Well, Larry Lavery was.
Larry Lavery, yeah.
Roger, sorry, Rick, to cut you off. This is Dr. Gene Sidler, one of the co-hosts, but I Googled your band, and of course what pops up is your roster page from Illinois Wesleyan football over in Bloomington. So I was aware that you
must have been pretty good.
He played center for the IWU football team. How was the team doing back in those years?
Pretty good. Our junior year, we had a pretty good team. We won the conference that year, and
all right.
So not bad. We had the honor of playing with a guy named, when I was there, our basketball team was even better than football. We had Jack Sikma, who was a big NBA star at the time. So Jack was there, But it was just a great, and Sam Lilly.
Sam Lilly knows him,
Now I know the connection, because you mentioned that name, and I thought, wow, how would I know him?
There was another name on the team, and it was Jim Molinari.
Oh, Jimmy was Jim.
He transferred into Illinois Wesleyan and played with Jack Sikma.
And wound up a coach.
Yeah, we had a heck of a team. We were in good football too.
Yeah. Well, you're known as much for your athletic talent as your music.
Well, I don't know about that. That was a long time ago. But very, very, very proud of Peoria Central years and Wesleyan years. It was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun and a lot of great friends. Still have them.
And tell us about the fun you're going to have this afternoon, early this evening.
Oh my gosh, tonight's going to be great for Pat. Yeah, he's retiring, from the bar and restaurant, and his birthday, and I've known him for years. I got to tell you a great story about him. You're the co-host there, my singer, John, had a wonderful wedding that we played at for his daughter. And so we're playing this wedding, and it was just packed with all teachers and principals and everybody. And we're playing, and so they say, well, Pat's got to do this thing where he stands on his head on the stage when you play this song. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And sure enough, here he comes, and he does this thing where he stands, he gets on his chair, and he stands on his head. Oh, my gosh, it was just wild. So
he was able to stand on his head?
Yes, it was crazy. just crazy. Oh my gosh, and stuff. It was just a fun evening with everybody. This huge wedding for John's daughter. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, Rick, tell us about your band. Tell us about who you have and the instruments they played. Talk about West McQueen Street Band.
Oh yeah, we have 7 members in the band. We have 2 wonderful girl singers. We have 4 of them that rotate during the different weekends. We've got saxophone, we've got drums, bass, keyboards, and we do a lot of music that's all dance music, everything from the 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way up to today. So, basically what we do is stuff that people like to dance to and enjoy and have listened to on the radio all these years.
Yeah. Tell us if someone listening has a company or an organization or a family and they would like to recruit your band to play for their event. How do they get a hold of you, Rick?
Oh, we got a great website to get a hold of. Just West McQueen Street Band. Just look that up on the internet. Get on Facebook. Got a Facebook page. They can get right on that and look me up. And the number will come right to my house. Just give me a call. And like I said, we play all summer. We play just every different venues this summer. This weekend's a busy weekend. We're at the winery out in Mackinac on Saturday night. And then we've just got all kinds of different shows all during the summer. Lots of outside stuff. It's just a lot of fun. So looking forward to a fun summer of playing.
When you're not playing, what are you doing?
I am actually a retired principal. I was a principal for 25 years here in 150 and out in Elmwood and just different places. With Tommy Kahn. Remember Tommy Kahn used to be.
Oh, Tommy Kahn. God love him. One of our favorite listeners, he and his wife. So out at Elmwood, you're exactly right. Where were you a principal in District 150?
I was at Sterling, over at Sterling. I was a Lauk schoolboy, but then when I came over, I was at Sterling and stuff. And I worked with Tommy out at Elmwood, and I started my career for 16 years over in East Peoria at Central Junior High School, right over there. So that's where I first started teaching. But I'll tell you what I do right now. When I got done, I decided I wanted to retire, take that great early retirement incentive as a principal. Thought I wanted to do something else, so I ran into the guy that did Jostens, who was the caps and gowns guy. And he said, "What are you going to do, Rick?" And I said, "I think I'm going to go back to teaching PE." He goes, "No." I goes, "Yeah, I think I am." So the next day, he leaves the school. The next day he comes back, he says, "Hey, Holy Family School knows you from the band because we'd played one of their summer things that they had at Holy Family." So I've been teaching PE ever since. It's my big retirement job at Holy Family.
It's what a small world, because I lived for over 35 years in Wardcliff, and Newman Parkway, as you know, the backyards of the people who live on that street face the field at Sterling School. It's how long were you at Sterling?
So just at Sterling for a couple of years, because I wanted to do high school. I'd come over from East Peoria to 150 to do. I really wanted to do high school, and at that time, my singer was there. He was one of the principals at Richwoods, and none of the guys were going to be moving. Dick Green was at Central, and so that's when Tommy Kahn found me, and he knew me from my football days.
Isn't that interesting?
To Elmwood. Yeah, but who my other famous coach was Phil Salzer.
Phil Salzer. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. But on a serious note, I will tell you, Rick, his wife just had surgery, and please have her and Phil in your prayers. Two wonderful people. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Look forward to seeing and hearing you this afternoon. Are you going to start playing right at 5 or 5:30 or 6?
No, we don't. They're going to have other stuff going on. They're going to have an acoustic act around 6. We're going to start around 7:30 right after that wonderful comedian. And so we'll go from 7:30 to 11 is when we'll play.
Yeah, you knew you had to compliment him. He's a big guy. I never disagree with anything that Ed Parker says.
I'd be in trouble if I didn't.
Yeah,
yep, I'd be in trouble.
All right, thanks, Rick. It's great talking to you, and I hope I get one of your CDs. I'd love to play it on the show.
You bet. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. All right. Thanks so much, Rick Simkins of West McQueen Street Band.
Nice website with a performance schedule here. It looks like he's booked all through the summer with.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, all the way through the end of the year. He's got gigs going all over the Peoria and Central Illinois area.
Yeah, they do. Didn't you say yesterday that he also used to play in the Pink Flamingos? Wasn't he?
I remember finding that there were other. That was Josh Bradshaw, wasn't it?
Oh, was it Josh?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew it. We looked them both up.
You guys have to help me out on Josh Bradshaw. Is it the Josh
Yes.
Bradshaw that
Yeah, he
comes up?
plays guitar and is in a band.
You
yes.
know, I'm gonna. Well, be careful. He's been on our show as a community manager with Advanced Medical Transport and has never said what talent he has besides being a spokesperson and a paramedic.
Well, yes,
And
he has,
all
but
this
that's how
time he's been in the closet with his music talent.
No,
Does he play a guitar? Does he?
Yes, he
well,
plays
I
the
mean,
guitar.
on the show.
No, he did, because that's how I knew he played with
Yes.
Johnny Quest, because he had
he
talked about that. That's
Well, I must have been
Yeah,
daydreaming.
he plays
something.
electric bass.
Electric
most
bass.
bass players also can play the rhythm guitar if they need to. Best known for his work with the bands Johnny Quest and the Pink Flamingos.
okay, it was Josh. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you knew that all the time when he was on?
No, we just learned that yesterday by
But no,
looking
I'm
it up
asking
here.
Terry.
Well, I knew he was. One of the times he was here, he did mention the Johnny Quest,
did?
and so that I
Well,
knew.
what does that mean?
But
I
didn't
mention a
know-
lot of things too, but that doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, here he is.
I plead the fifth on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Our YouTube people can't see it, but here he is playing guitar with the Pink
I'll
Flamingos.
be doggone. You just
And that's not a bass guitar, so he's playing rhythm guitar there.
what's help me out? What's the difference?
Well, a bass guitar is 4 strings, just plays those low notes like a standing bass would play, the real low bass notes. And the rhythm guitar, you can play any melody you want.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Well, our weather guy's going to be in here shortly, so we need to get ourselves organized, because if we don't, we'll hear about it. So let's take a check of the boys and girls, and time for our news headlines. You know, hard work produces results. We know that. We grew up that way, and that's why Realtor Kathy Reynolds, she works hard, and that's why she's successful. She helps her clients seeking to sell and or buy their next home, and she's been around for close to 10 years, and she's also a gospel singer, so she can sing the praises of a house, help get it sold. She can do a little bit of everything. Anyway, you can reach Kathy Reynolds of Home Smart if you're interested in buying your next home or selling your current home. And you can reach Kathy at 309-696-2162. Here's Terry.
A lot of important people gathered in Chicago yesterday to celebrate former President Barack Obama and, of course, former First Lady Michelle, and the opening of the Obama Presidential Center. The dedicatory ceremony featured former Presidents Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and George W. Bush. Cost estimates have varied by the national media, but it's considered the most expensive presidential library in history. The public opening of the center is today. Governor J.B. Pritzker attended the ceremony after making a crucial correction on his budget. WLS News reported the governor used his item and reduction veto powers to eliminate over $500 billion in spending that was erroneously included in the fiscal year 2027 budget. If not corrected, that amount of money would have been allocated to the Chicago branch of the NAACP. The agency is supposed to receive only, and I say that facetiously, $500,000. Speaking of the budget, the largest spending plan in state history, we talked about it earlier with Darren Baley, who is the Republican candidate for governor. He gave us some very good insights and
That was fascinating.
his ideas for what he wants to get accomplished if he becomes governor. Now for some local news. You heard it on our program Wednesday morning from defense attorney Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan said his client, Peoria Heights Mayor Matt Wigington, wants a jury to decide whether he's guilty or not guilty of driving under the influence. The mayor was arrested by Peoria police as he sat in his vehicle in the parking deck of the Pierre Marquette Hotel after attending a community dinner last April. The vehicle allegedly was not running, and the keys were in Wigington's coat pocket when he was nabbed. The judge set the trial for July 20th. Big day today for Peoria community leader Pat Sullivan. Sullivan celebrates his 75th birthday and his announced retirement. The birthday bash starts at 5 p.m. at his famous eatery, Kelleher's Irish Pub, with the big band sound of Rick Simkins and his West McQueen Street Band. And we just heard from Rick, who is a Peoria High graduate, just like Sullivan.
Wasn't it a fascinating interview? Really,
It was.
I knew of him, but not extensively, and talk with him and learn about his background in education as a principal and a friend of a longtime friend of this program and a personal friend, Tommy Kahn. It's like homecoming. Yeah, just a little reminder: the world is a lot smaller than we think it is. Sometimes.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
And today is the observance of Juneteenth, which marks the end of slavery in the United States. The day became a federal holiday in 2021. On June 19, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, with some 2,000 troops to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation issued by President Abraham Lincoln. And those are the headlines, Roger.
And now we check the weather, brought to you by Spoon River Home Health, making a difference in the lives of their clients since 1993 with a comprehensive range of home health services from skilled nursing to bathing and personal care. Your choice matters at Spoon River Home Health, and you can reach them today at 309-245-0723. Now, our Mr. Weather Guy is here, and I will tell you, you are familiar with London Mills, are you not?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Ardith Platt passed away at the young age of 79. I don't know if you knew Ardith.
Well, no, I didn't know Ardith. I know the Platt family
The
very
Platt,
well.
Brian and Susie, yeah.
So it's Brian's mother. And
Yeah,
then,
right.
Yep, and I think
Well,
the
good
wake
for
was
you.
Sunday, I believe.
Yes, yeah, and we went down for.
We went to it.
Well, yeah, they
You ate well.
and you know, I think everybody. What's the population of London Mills? Do you know?
About 600.
Yeah, and I think everybody was there, and they made it. It was in the little park,
Yeah,
which
right
was
by the
right
riverside.
alongside the Spoon River. I mean, the setting was just so
Oh, yeah.
Americana,
Yeah.
frankly
Did you see the
speaking.
Statue of Liberty? The statue there at the park, Riverside Park?
Yes.
There's a little mini Statue
Yes.
of Liberty.
Oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah, and it is just that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
And you know what made it neat? Well,
made it neat?
certainly the people did,
Food,
but
probably.
exactly a typical church potluck.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything homemade. Almost everything. Some of the desserts came from a bakery, but that's okay.
That's okay. It's a local.
But I tell you what, I really felt comfort. There was a nice gentle breeze. The sun would peek in and out of the clouds. It was just absolute. I can understand why you're a nice guy. You were raised in that kind of
I
an
was raised in
atmosphere,
great,
weren't you?
great community, great farm communities. No, just God-fearing, good Christian people.
Yeah.
And
It was.
Look out for each other. You know,
Yeah.
it's the old saying. What's that song from Music Man where, you know, we'll look after one another if your crop should happen to die, but we won't talk to you face to face or something like that. But I mean, no, but we will talk to you face to face. It's just, it's Spoon River Valley area is just
It's
so blessed.
God's country.
So blessed to be raised
Yeah,
there.
no, you're right.
Very much so.
And so's the weather. I'm going to commend you.
Oh,
We've
thank
had
you.
some wonderful weather. You know, we
been
had
an amazing
some
week, aside from
showers, you
Wednesday.
know,
Yeah.
and thunder boomers and so forth. But
And
what's the lay of the land for the weekend?
Oh, the weekend is it's a good note to start, and then it's a terrible note to finish. So apologies to the father.
Well, why don't
for-
you start with the bad and then
Start with
no,
the bad?
I'm just
No, we'll start
I'm
with the
just
bad.
kidding. No,
No, we'll
No.
start with today. So happy Juneteenth to all.
Yes.
A gorgeous day today. Highs in the upper 70s. Plenty of sunshine, light winds. Just picture perfect. I mean, there's no other way to describe this last full week of spring. Usually we're on the warmer side, we're on the humid side. We have not been this week, aside from Wednesday, and it's just been spectacular. And tomorrow we'll be right near the 80-degree mark. A few more clouds in the afternoon as that system approaches from the southwest, and that system is the kind of the focal point of the weekend. Unfortunately, it falls on Father's Day. It'll be a very rainy, waterlogged